Hail and well met. Welcome to the Westgate Irregulars. We were having a little conversation before we started, which is why we're still giggling. But it's Wednesday, and here we are for more adventure. I am Erik Scott DeB, the DM of the Westgate Irregulars campaign. These lovely individuals around me are the Dungeon Scrawlers, a group of erstwhile and valiant writers endeavoring to adventure in the panoramic and much beloved Forgotten Realms. I'm going to throw it over to Erin to start introducing herself and our sponsor. Go ahead, Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I am the author of the Brimstone Angels saga. I'm also going to tell you about our sponsor. Except right now I'm looking at the wrong note. There we go. Untitled Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida and now Havilar from the Brimstone Angels saga. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices, and now on the Nintendo Switch. For more information, you can check them out at idlechampions.com.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy under that name, and then under the pen name RZ Held, I write space opera. And if you're curious about my space opera, it unfortunately no longer is free, but it is still free on Kindle Unlimited. There is a short story that takes the Westgate Irregulars and puts them into my space opera universe, and you can find that link on our website, dungeonscholars.com.
Hi, I'm Stephen Merlino. I am a teacher and writer. My first novel, The Jack of Souls, is still free for just a little longer on Kindle and actually everywhere you can get ebooks. So check that out, download it at least, and then you can read it later if you want to.
In quarantines.
Hi, I'm Emily Tay. I'm a game designer at Wizards of the Coast. Disclaimer, all thoughts and opinions expressed in this stream are my own and do not represent Wizards of the Coast.
Okay, then. We are ready to go.
Oh, I mean, Randy didn't say anything.
Randy, what were you doing over there?
Oh, yeah, Randy. And hi, I'm Randy Henderson. I'm an author.
Excellent. I realize that it has now been like 3 weeks now, and I have not mentioned the new book that I just published this month.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's called Ghoul Island. It's Cthulu D&D adventure from Petersen Games. You should go check it out. It's pretty
That
great.
sounds great. Cool.
I know I wasn't entirely sure when it was going to hit stands, and then it kind of surprised me. So,
Oh, publishing.
Right on.
Yeah,
We're always
right.
the last to know, like, oh, by the way, your book's out. What? Oh, okay.
I'm planning on 2 novels this year. This is number 1. We'll see. Anyway, okay. And Rogar is going to give us his recap to get us started. So take it away, Randy.
Hi, Rogar. Put on the recap already. All right, so so we defeated the Twilight Knight in the arena. Hurrah! And then, woo! And then we were recuperating. And of particular note, Calith, who had been shedding feathers for a while, suddenly seemed to be able to fly, which was miraculous. And then we learned last time.
Always fly. What are you talking about?
Of course, I misspoke. But we found out that Aiden was helping her with necromantic, basically almost killing himself to like revitalize her wings, and suggested that maybe she should go and like start sucking the life force from other people to revitalize her wings, which she found disturbing, thankfully, and asked Rogar to help a friend find a way to restore life to dead limbs, which is awesome. And then her father showed up, Ervin Amakar, and he's like, you know, and also a blade singer and very cool, and played by Ed Greenwood, and he basically put her through 3 tests: a fighting test, a magic test, and then a test of her readiness to go out in the world responsibly, wield her power. So I thought I'd give us 3 tests real quick. So a fight test, a magic test, and then a test to see if you're ready for this responsibility.
I'm out of the
With
fight
great
test.
power comes well, hey, take a shot. You know, if you get the answer right, sure.
Aaron's ahead of you already.
Those of you who think this is water.
And people in the chat, of course, you should totally guess as well. And take a drink if you want. All right. So the fight test, I thought, all right, what 2 feats, when you combo them, a lot of people thought that this like just totally broke the game for melee fighters at first, until they realized all the ways you can get around it. But still, it's a pretty powerful one. And here's a hint. Havilar would love this feat combo, I think. That's right.
Wow.
Woo! Good job.
So that's the combination, yeah.
Nice.
All right. So whole arm. If anyone comes within 10 feet of you, you get an opportunity attack on them. And with Sentinel, if you hit someone with an opportunity attack, their speed is reduced to 0. And so then in your turn, then you get to whop them twice. And then you just step back 5 feet. And now you're 15 feet away. So they have to close on you. And as soon as they're within 10 feet out of striking range, you get an opportunity attack, rinse, recycle. But of course, the flaws are you have to hit them with the opportunity attack to reduce their speed. They can still attack you with distance. They can, ranged spells or whatever. And, if more than one person attacks you, it doesn't stack. So the results. Although apparently you can take tunnel fighting as well.
I'm going to canonically declare that Havilar has exactly this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
It's still a really sweet combo for melee. I mean, you get plus you get a reaction attack on if anyone attacks an ally next to you. You get anyway all kinds of cool stuff with that combo. Right, magic test. All right, and I want to give a shout out to by the way to Jordan with the PH is silent, JORPHDAN. He has this YouTube channel that's brilliant for Forgotten Realms lore and history and stuff. I love that channel. Anyway. That's an unofficial shout out. All right. So now divine magic comes, of course, from the gods or nature, if you're like a druid or a ranger. But what do we call the essence or the source of arcane magic that surrounds and penetrates and binds all living beings? And it's not the force.
The weave?
It's the weave. And of course, Shae, being all jealous and stupid, also created a shadow weave. So, if you're an evil magic user, you can probably cast using Shae's totally cheap second-rate knockoff magic, I guess. Whatever. But also the shadow is apparently different from shadow magic, which is channeling power from the shadow plane. But then Shae combined that with the negative thing, creating the shadow veil. I don't know. All I know is they apparently love the word shadow and just use it all. So
they have a brand to uphold.
Right. And then briefly, can anyone kind of give me the history of the goddess of magic? Who is the goddess of magic?
I don't know who you be brief about Mistra.
Mistra, aye. Although, so she started as Mistral.
Previously Mistral.
Previously Mistral, right. Started Mistral from this battle between Selûne and Shae, and then she got killed during Karsus' folly, which,
Man, Karsus.
Man, Karsus, you and your...
Way to ruin a good thing.
I know, right? Oh.
I didn't expect the recap to open up this historical can of worms here.
And then later, and then, of course, she was almost instantly reborn as Mistra. Mistral became Mistra. And then she was killed by Helm during that whole, where Eo was all pissed at the gods thing. And then part of her infused Midnight, who then changed her name to Mistra so as to not confuse people. Right? Okay, sure, it's not confusing. And then Shae. Oh, Shae is the worst. Tricks Erik into killing New Flavor Mistra, and that caused the Spell Plague, which, by the way, caused the Great Rift to collapse and killed a lot of my fellow dwarves. So again, Shae sucks.
So the bone you have to pick with Shae is very deep rooted.
It's very deep. Aye. And then Elminster came along and then restored her. So New Flavor Mistra is back. So very cool. It's almost like every time they wanted to rewrite, or create a new version of D&D, they had to go and just kill Mistra, which I think sucks. Why not kill Shae? She got the Shadow Wave, and then that could destroy everything. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there for D&D 6th edition. I'm just saying. Kill Shae this time, will you? All right. And then okay. And then for a bonus on the magic, can you quickly name the 8 schools of magic?
No.
Off the top of your head. No. Okay, I'll help you. Oh, go ahead.
Enchantment,
Sure.
divination,
Abjuration.
Evocation.
Enchantment.
That enchantment already.
Yeah.
Second enchantment.
Second enchantment.
Enchantment Square.
Third breakfasts.
Transmutation.
Evocation.
Conjuration.
I put down the wrong notes. I had Hogwarts, Break Bills, Eleanor West Home for Wayward Children, St.
All right.
Vladimir's Academy, the university that both attended, Osborne Academy of Young Mages, Miskatonic University, and of course the unseen University of Ankh-Morpork. But apparently I was mistaken. Right, so test 3.
How could you say something so controversial and yet so brave?
Right, okay. Test 3 finally. Now to see if you have gained the maturity and experience to use all of this great knowledge you have demonstrated.
And
So-
then you met us.
Great. You are on a trolley, and ahead of you, you see that the track split. Straight ahead on the track is 100 Bonnie bairns, sweet little cute babies, right? And on the track that splits off of it is Shar, goddess of being all mean and sucky. And a bonus, the one god who's even worse than Shar, in my opinion, Merkel, that ball bag of deathiness,
Oh
is
my God.
tied to the tracks at her feet. So now you have a lever that control whether you continue on and hit all of those sweet little babies or go and hit stupid Shar. So what do you do?
Well, can I bargain with Shae if I spare her level
No.
powers?
No.
Yeah, but to do that, you need to threaten her. So
What is this a magic trolley?
It's a magic trolley, sure.
It's a god-killing trolley.
It's a magic
All right,
trolley.
so we're going to
Cool.
throw a stong in front of the trolley, and he'll turn into a giant ape.
I was gonna say, who gets to be the ape?
Hold it back.
Oh, All right.
I thought this was a very simple test, but apparently you just throw the lever, kill Shar, she sucks. All right.
I'm sensing some personal bias.
Okay,
There's
maybe
the
I
thing.
didn't
Sometimes
quite
you
use
kill a
the
god and they
trolley problem
explode, and then
correctly,
the
but-
babies die anyway. And
Right. I guess I didn't use it correctly, but still, there you
Here we
go.
are.
I'll still say you all pass and well done. And with that, we've concluded Rogar's recap. Back to you, omniscient Erik.
Oh, that was great. Forgotten Realms trolley problem. Right.
a trolley.
So, victory. Westgate Irregulars have won a great victory in the Quivering Thumb Arena, and their fame has spread throughout the city. It has been a couple of days since this victory, and other things have happened that have distracted your attention. But it is now that the chickens start coming home to roost, and your fame starts becoming impossible to ignore. The first manifestation that you noticed was a number of messengers who kept showing up at the empty lot in which Briarhouse once stood with letters. Who among you encountered a messenger first?
I
How did they know to
I
go to Briarhouse?
suspect Artemisia is
Artemisia would
keeping a eye on
Okay.
the place.
intercept
So
the mail.
Artemisia, that's probably the best, most responsible person to encounter one of these messengers. The messenger looked around quizzically and then saw you standing there and said, Artemisia Taharon, this is for you. And then he extended you this letter, which is stamped with a seal of some kind.
okay. Is a reply expected?
I believe so. And then you see another messenger come running up. Artemisia Taharon, this is for you. And he hands you another letter.
Well, who are you two
And then you
from?
see 5 more messengers start running down the street toward you.
All right, form a line. I will take their letters. No replies at this time, I'm sorry to say. Whoever hired you, you can let them know that I will reply in a timely fashion.
And then a crowd starts gathering around you. Everyone calling out for your attention and affection and interest and blessing and a few proposals of marriage, that kind of thing.
No.
What's I was trying
I know.
whatever that means.
And within the next hour or two, Artemisia returns to the Purple Lady a little bit shaken by all that attention with an armful of letters. And you have directed further inquiries to be left for you at the Purple Lady, as that is where you are currently staying.
Oh, no.
And most of these letters are invitations to call upon various powerful people in the city. Invitations to revels, invitations to balls, people seeking to start up a correspondence with you. It's somewhat overwhelming, actually.
I need to hire a secretary.
You need a social media manager.
Are they all specifically for Artemisia?
No, most of them are for the Westgate Irregulars, and some of them are specifically for Artemisia. The ones from the various noble houses in the city are definitely for Artemisia, but many of the letters are just fan mail, as it were.
We should read all of our fan mail. Let's open every letter and read every one out loud.
There is, however, one letter which was specifically for Rogar, and it is that letter that he is looking at right now as he sits in his room at the Purple Lady with Jigs kind of restlessly pacing next to the bed. And that letter, let me see. Randy has a copy of it to read, so... but it is addressed to Rogar Battlebairn, priest errant of our fruitful mother in heaven, Sharinlar.
Uh-oh.
You want to tell us what that letter says there, Randy?
Sure.
And are you reading it aloud? The only person, entity elsewhere in the room is Jigs. You are otherwise alone.
Good old Jigs. I like to listen. All right, so it says... Child Rogar, I am most disappointed that you not only left the temple against orders, but have continued to perpetuate your Bogglewomp heresy. In these times, the Church of Sharinlar must be respected above all, and your unsanctioned actions are undermining that respect. As you know, our people have reclaimed our mining fort in the Giant Runs Mountain that were once overrun by the Drow and their foul minions. A Church of Sharinlar has been built, and I will be traveling there in 2 months' time to offer my blessing. I will expect you to surrender yourself to my mercy and judgment at that time. Sharinlar's blessing upon you, however undeserving you may be. Margaret, iron-faced holy mother of the Smoking Mountain Temple of Sharinlar.
Wait, say her name one more time.
Margaret Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Margaret Iron Fist.
Oh, Margaret alone is a bad enough.
So Jigs looks at you and he kind of whimpers, like,
Margaret.
That gives me like 2 months to find a way to prove to them that the Bogglewomps are real, and I'm not a heretic.
So Jigs paws at the letter, specifically at where the date is printed on the letter.
Oh, what is the date?
The date is actually a 10-day back from today, so you have less than 2 months.
Ooh.
It just gets better and better.
So she's going to show up, not that I'm there, but she's going to show up at this place in the Giants Run Mountains, which is to the south of us.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Westgate.
Yeah. And she's going to bless the temple and expect you to show up or
turn myself in for
chewing out.
Judgment and,
At least you won't have to travel far to get chewed out.
And judgment.
Letters, I can tell you not to go.
Right. So
Or
Jigs
we can
Jigs
help you
is looking at
manufacture
Rogar.
evidence of the Bogglewomp.
Jigs is looking at Rogar very thoughtfully, like, what are you going to do?
Oh no, I've already tried everything I could think. I just guess I'll have to trust that Sharinlar put me on the right path and continue to search for signs of the Bogglewomp. I'll have to redouble my search.
The dog looks unconvinced.
Sure, there must be some sign of it. I mean, there's lots of evil stuff going on around here. I wonder if Shar is in league with the Bogglewomp. She seems to have quite a bit going on in this. I don't know. I'll have to continue digging.
And so at that point, there is a knock on the door, and it is one of your companions come to call you to a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Is it one of you in particular?
It's Sturge.
Sturge.
Quickly stuff the letter under like my pillow.
The Sturge. Oh,
Hey, hey, hi, Sturge.
inside check. Did his voice just crack?
Go ahead and make a check.
It really seemed like it cracked. I think I can be forgiven for suspicion here.
What was the result of your check?
It is 24. I got a natural 20 on that one. It's
yes.
right there on roll 20 if you want to look at it.
It's fine. I trust
Okay,
you.
okay.
He seems a little troubled. A little nervous, maybe.
Sturge is going to step into the room, close the door behind him, and say, "Out with it. What's wrong? You can tell me." Before you make something up, which you're about to do, take a deep breath.
Jake
just
sniffs
tell
at
me.
his pillow, like he's nosing at his pillow, like. And Rogar's like,
Go ahead and mage hand the pillow up into the air. Oh, it seems
Sturge
you've
is
left
the
some
right one for
papers
this.
here.
there is a crumpled letter there. Yeah.
Well, that's private. You know.
I'll let you read it to me. I'll respect your privacy.
Respect your privacy about that much.
So you got a disturbing letter. About what? May I
I
ask?
suppose I'm always telling Kalis and you to like allow me to help you. I suppose I should like take my own advice. I could use a bit of help. I need to figure out what the hell the Bogglewomps are and where they are and what they're doing. Because if I don't, I'm afraid they're going to strip me of my vestments and make me no longer a cleric of Sharindlar. But I don't know why. Why would she have given me her powers if she didn't want? I am positive. I am positive that this vision was real, and I'm supposed to be doing something here. I just need to figure out what. I could use your help. I mean, you got all those underworld contacts. Surely, like you could reach out, find out if anyone's heard of like Bogglewomp movements or strange doings by evil creatures that no one knows what they are, or.
It's true. I'm your friend, and I'm happy to help you in that way. However, I think you're on the right track when you say it's up to Sharindlar. Whatever bureaucrat wrote you this note to tell you that they are going to excommunicate you, they have they don't matter.
Oh no, she very much. She raised me. She taught me everything about what it means to be a priest of Sharindlar.
But really, she raised you. You fledged under her, and you left the nest. And your true
that use as a verb. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Your
fledged.
Your
Yeah.
true mother is Sharindlar now. She needs to let go this whoever it is, and
it doesn't quite work that way. I just really well. I mean, I would be ahead if I don't have her blessing, then I am not officially a cleric of Sharindlar, at least not in the eyes of the church. And
you need the church.
Well,
the church is dwarves. The church is people. The church is fallible. Sharindlar is your god.
I still believe in our primary mission. The dwarves need to replenish our numbers, and we're in a very vulnerable place right now. I support the church. I need this church to support me, and I'm certain, like Sharindlar would not have given me this quest if it weren't important somehow to the dwarves and all life on Trail. So I need to figure it out.
You know, I'm sure that our friends will be happy to help you in this. I certainly am. And I wonder if it might not be time to consult your god. Can't you divine commune with your God and ask a question? Ask for clarification.
I mean, I pray to her daily, but to reach
No.
out to her,
I mean a ceremony, look, I've been studying divination myself, and I know there's other kinds of divination. And I know that there's God-based divination, and what you do in that case is you contact the God, and you're fairly progressed now in her gifts. Does she provide any means for you to channel in and ask for clarification?
She does.
Do it. What are you waiting for?
The last couple times I have tried, there has been sort of some kind of barrier. And I don't understand how that could be, because her power still flows through me. I still have her blessing, and yet when I try to reach back the other way, it's like there's something, this shadow between us. It reminds me of the Bogglewumps, and I don't know, maybe that's the danger. Maybe the Bogglewumps have some ability to interfere with Charanglar's power, and that is why she needs me here, outside of the church. Maybe they have all been... I don't know. I can try, but there's something.
So Jigs nudges at Rogar's hand.
Oh,
His tail's wagging.
Let's try. Maybe with the support of your friends, you will get through. I think
by with a little help from my friend.
So it is at that point that I think Stong wanders by and says that it's time for dinner. And however Stong might say that, you want to fill us in, Yang?
Guys and gals, dinner time.
Oh, Scran! Okay, let's go. And I take that as an excuse to get out of this uncomfortable and difficult conversation. Now I know how Sturge feels whenever I'm trying to convince him to let me help him with learning how to make love without jiggly bits. So
Stong sees Rogar passing him, and he wants to say to him, "Hey, you look like you were just in an uncomfortable conversation. Do we need a safe word here?"
So when you get to the main room of the Purple Lady, it is packed full of people. There are so many people dancing and eating and laughing and joking and telling stories and singing, and it is just hopping. And it has been for every night for the last several days. Lord Amakir left directly from his meeting with Caliph, so he did not come back, so you did not have any opportunity to ask him any further questions. He just flew away from their table, floating up in the sky. And by the time Caliph eventually figured out how to make the Earth moat go down, he was already out of the city.
Oh, I thought he was
tuned after the episode, he'll answer some questions.
That's true.
Did I not
more interview with Ed after the show if you stick around. What was that, Emily?
Did I not just lean down and be like, "Hey, how do I make this work?"
But you were pretty far in the air at that point.
Also, several of us wandered off.
Yeah, he left you like a riddle to figure out, to determine the command word, because it's your dad. So.
3 tests, what a liar.
3.5.
The 4th test was inside of you all along.
The 4th test was much disliked among the fan base. Anyway, sorry, that was my little meta D&D joke. All right, so you're not entirely sure why the Purple Lady is doing so well. This is a larger amount of people than usual, and everyone has gathered for a meal. Shae has managed to set you up in one of the corner tables that she said she greets you somewhat out of breath, and she says, I had to fight off several people to keep this table free for you. You see that she has a bandage that's just showing from under her tunic that she's wearing.
Literally fight off?
She says, well, in some cases, the intimidating stare doesn't work every time. Usually it's better to avoid conflict than to actually engage in conflict, but I am very good at conflict. So anyway, please have a seat. We're making all your favorites. It's so good to have you guesting here. I get very lonely at times when the lady's, doing her business, and all my friends are off on their own things. Anyway, I'm babbling. Here, sit down.
Are we in a booth?
Yes.
Okay, with a curtain, a purple curtain.
There is a purple curtain, which is currently open so that you can look out at the common room. And like I said, it was not clear to you why the purple lady was suddenly so popular until Artemisia arrives with this armful of letters that's just on the table.
All right,
Does this mean our house is back?
No, these arrived at where the house should be. Somebody needs to help me with these. I'm gonna try to hire a secretary, but that's gotta wait till there's a house for them to work at, and just help me.
Caleb knows
Sort.
Stong definitely goes.
No, sort the letters.
I sure hope
Stong wants to help.
They're addressed to.
Basement door and let Roomba
Stong.
Paper's organic,
All
right?
your stuff.
So like I said, many of the letters are addressed to Artemisia. The ones that are on more kind of rich parchment and fine stationery are addressed to Artemisia, or they might be addressed to the Westgate Irregulars, care of Artemisia, captain, right? Because most people assume that Artemisia is the leader of the Westgate Irregulars. And some of them are addressed to just the Westgate Irregulars, sometimes in big enthusiastic hand, like people write your name with big letters and like exclamation points. Some of them are addressed individually to each of you.
This has gotten way out of hand.
Wait. I propose we each make a pile of our own letters, and then we trade with the person next to us in a clockwise direction and read them out loud to each other.
Okay.
Are we
Do you want
each
to
other's fan mail?
Yes.
Do you want to grab a letter for one of the other irregulars?
Yes, I'll take one from Caleb's pile.
Okay.
And I'm
Caleb
like,
will take one from Stong's pile.
All right. So just think of who you're going to take it from, and I'm going to go around because there's no way I'm going to remember all that. So, Stephen, you grab one from Caleb's file.
No. Woo!
It is in fact a poem about her beauty in flight, and it is comparing her to some sort of bird, although it's not super clear what kind of bird. Mostly because the writer mixes up which kind of bird in
Roses
the
are
beginning
red.
of the poem and then at the end of the poem. It's not a very
Violets
good
are
poem.
blue. Caleb
singer
flies
in
just
flight.
like a red cuckoo.
Wow.
There's a
Beautiful.
a crossed out note in the margin,
Oh.
which is in a different hand, as in clearly they had a beta reader go over this.
Whoa.
And you kind of like rub the marking off, and it says, "Peacocks don't fly, you peacock." Anyway.
Okay.
Fly.
Huh.
All right. Who wants to go next? Okay, Caleb. You grab one from Stong's
From
pile?
Stong.
Okay. You grab one from Stong's pile, and it is a missive from a young man named Narb.
Narb.
It says,
Narb.
Oh, Narb. Mm.
"Wow, that was the most amazing thing I have ever seen in my life when you jump and knock over that pillar. That's amazing. You amazing. Marry me." Narb.
Oh, Narb.
Turn it over and on the other
Parentheses.
side. Like,
Remember Narb from the quivering thumb? Yeah, that Narb.
How did Narb get involved? I forget.
The doppelganger.
Yeah, he was the doppelganger's
His
like
sister.
Friend.
fanboy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he's the real Songs fanboy.
He was waiting. He was waiting on a date with Bronze Wolf, but it seems like he's got
Yeah, he
his.
wants a date with Song.
Yeah,
Well, he probably wants to
Marriage
date
partner
you,
in
but
mind.
marry me.
There.
Now who he's gonna kill?
Probably
You want him
kill
over
Sturge.
with
Kill
who
that
knows?
doppelganger,
With your
maybe?
bardic
All right.
strength.
All right.
Yeah.
Another letter. Who wants to get another letter?
Stong would like to read one from Cecilia's pile.
Okay. Stong, you grab one from Cecilia's pile, and it appears to be a letter from the from Arthas, the director of ceremonies at the Quivering Thumb.
Mm.
And he said, I am
So
extending
maybe
my
that.
apologies. It seems that my masters have given out your address to any fan who will pay a single gold piece for it. They are now making out like bandits.
Mm.
I am seeking to acquire some small royalty for you.
You guys want to
Please.
kill some people?
Please come
I,
back and fight in the arena again.
So after I'm done reading it, I look and I would say, "Oh, Cecilia, here's a money-making opportunity for you."
Someone's already making money off me. That's why I say it's a killing guy's opportunity.
Ooh.
I
Any
guess
more
I'll
letters?
pick up Rogar's.
Okay. Rogar has like 2 letters.
Oh. And we'll pick up one of them. Or
Okay.
both of them.
One of them says it appears to be from a small child. Like the lettering is very rough and messy. But it says you are my favorite Rogar with your doggy.
What? Hang on a second.
I am 6 winters old, and I want to be you when I grow up.
Aww.
Or your doggy cute.
Rogar, it's the best letter.
I'm going to write back. It's not my doggy.
Cecilia starts writing on the letter. Like, no,
He
you
owns
don't
himself.
understand.
But if anybody is if he is anybody's doggy, he is Cecilia's. Thank you very much.
All right. Many of the letters go like that. If somebody picks up one of the letters to Artemisia,
No.
it is okay.
Here for
Artemisia's
it?
cleaning all those letters.
Rogar would.
Do it.
Sense the crackle of electricity in the air.
Artemisia,
I've had to sit through them.
do you read any of those letters yourself?
Yeah. Actually, she would start like sorting. So somebody could either like clearly there's going to be a pile that she sort of knows what's going on with them, and there's going to be a pile that are like unusual, and so whoever like wants to do a like raid to get one of them can go for one of those piles when
I would
she is
snatch
piling
the
on the other one.
unusual.
Yeah, I'll snatch one of the
Mhm.
unusual
Do it.
ones. from
Okay.
Artemisia.
Mm.
I'll slap her hand if she tries to
Are
snap
any
it.
of them heavier? Like they might have clean in them?
Or are there any perfumed ones? Because that would be.
They are several of them are very perfumed indeed.
Ooh.
So she was setting those ones aside. So maybe you should get a perfumed one,
Oh,
Rogar.
Drakkar Noir on this one.
Okay.
Someone used
So
the
whoever's
Axe
grabbed
body
one of
spray
those
all
letters,
over
it is
Rogar's
sealed with a wax seal,
Mhm.
and the image on the seal is a sunburst.
I'm gonna like carefully pick it off because it's pretty. I don't want to like break this one first,
With
you know,
with your excessive dexterity, you carefully open up the letter, which just means you tear it.
Dainty little fingers.
Okay.
And it appears to be from a noble house called House Malavan, which is inviting Artemisia and her attendants to a ball this following 10 day.
Ooh, that sounds
Rude.
fun. I'm an attendant now.
Yeah.
No one
It's
said
not
you have to come
specific.
with
It
me.
just says it's extending the invitation to her
House Malavan.
and
is that
to whoever she wishes to bring.
Malavan?
House
Is that what
Malavan.
it's
House
I got-
Malavan. Yeah.
That doesn't sound evil at all.
MALAVHAN. Malavan.
I got a date I can take if you guys aren't wanting to come with me to these balls. So
Hmm.
Will there
It's just a little
be?
insulting to be called your attendant.
There are several other noble invitations like that. Only one of them mentions your consort,
Ooh.
Although there are several that are more subtly like, you should definitely bring Lilton with you,
Hmm.
I'm all down
without
for
being
going to
that
the ball.
obvious.
But Artemisia gets it. Trust me.
Mhm.
Well,
What I'm
she's going to
saying
start
is
note.
some of the houses are more are better at this game than others.
She's going to start making like a schedule with like priority and like there, if anybody's reading over her shoulder, like there's a little note that's like, let Lilton know these are highest priority if he can only make one or two, and then start like noting down like when the different dates are. And
It's funny you should mention that. Shae is definitely leaning over your shoulder, and she's like, "Oh, yes, you should definitely accept the Malavan one. Although you could, yes, is she here?" And she looks out in the common room, and she's like, "Ah, there she is."
Ooh.
She points to this young woman who is dancing kind of ecstatically. Like, for those of you who know much about religion in the realms, you might think that it's some kind of religious dance to Lyra, the goddess of dance and joy.
Hmm.
But it's slightly drunken and a little more a little more risque than you might expect a straightforward happy dance to be. And Shae says, "Yes, that's Pefri Malavan. She's one of the heiresses of the house."
Half-free?
Pefri,
Half-free.
Pefri, Pefri.
Half-free. It's a very...
She says, "Ah, yeah, she's been coming here for a 10-day now."
Hmm.
But
Get one of those pineapple
waiting for
drinks, Shae.
somebody or
Well, I think she has something for the lady, but many people do. So, but she has been here more recently, more often, more recently. I think that she has something for you as well.
He's at our house, maybe?
Something...
I could ask, but I doubt she can fit your house inside that outfit.
Speaking of the house, Dong, have you been in touch with anyone inside of it? Are they okay?
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, they still got like a week's worth of food. And Mirren assures me that she'll be able to figure it out by then.
Oh, so that was a
Okay.
one-way spell.
She's still taking a look into it. She so Erik, what spell was it again that she believes she cast?
She intended to cast Sequester.
So she intended
Do you
to
know what
cast.
she actually cast?
She's still looking into it, but she's very reliable, and I think we could probably trust her. Everybody over at the house seems to actually be having a fairly good time, like looking out the windows at the astral plane.
Taunting the astral yetis as they walk by.
Shae says, "The astroplane, you think?"
Yes. Do you happen to know a way into the astral plane?
Oh no, I just had a friend who spent a long time on the astral plane. Or was it the plane of shadow? I can never remember. Anyway, she crashed a castle into a city. You know, it's a much funnier story if you were there. It was a flying castle.
Well,
That's how you
Ooh.
crash
She was a
it, is
bit
it?
distracted while she was piloting. I really shouldn't tell you the story.
She's
don't
checking her
cast message
sending stone.
cantrips and drive flying castles.
Mm.
Well, it's more like don't involve yourself in certain activities while piloting a flying castle. It's, you know, I'm going to get us more drinks, and she heads away.
Rogar has a...
pineapple drink, please.
So we're here for another 10-day? Aaron's thinking. I would
I better
like my
go
stuff. I would like to be in my own space again.
talk to well, and I have to talk to Marcelea as well. So so Artemisia, like, and this will not be out of character for her. You guys have seen her do this before. She's completely forgotten about dinner. Like, dinner is unimportant at this point because like correspondence must deal with. So forgetting about food, she like gathers up her letters and she's got a little list of like people she's got to talk to, and she's gonna head out unless somebody stops her.
Please, before you go, there is a letter that Rogar received separately. I think you would like to explain to the rest of you.
just going to air all your business, Rogar, because I respect your privacy.
Stong looks at Rogar for the safe word. Is he saying it? Okay.
No, that's.
You're gonna turn into an ape if he does.
I'm going to drop a
turns a
silence
little-
on
Turns
Sturge.
kind of
Yeah.
a little red, and starts sort of tugging at his beard, and it's like, well, I've only got like, I don't know, like about a month and a half to figure out what the bogglewumps are, or else I sort of have to. I might be in trouble with the church.
Like Sharinlar's gonna smite you.
No, that's
you-
the distinction. It's not his god. It's the bureaucracy of the church that is threatening him with expulsion.
Oh, then you were
That's-
never here. If she shows up, we'll tell her you're questing.
Oh, witness protection. I like it.
What's she gonna do? I mean, probably cast some kind of tree spell or something,
Sequester.
but-
Randy,
Good luck.
As long as I hadn't received that letter, I could sort of pretend like, they were okay with me leaving. But now that I know, like, basically I have been officially summoned, I sort of can't ignore it if I want to stay a cleric of Sharinlar. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like running around and that's an interesting question. If Sharinlar still gave me her grace, yet they disown me, I don't know what that would make me. I guess that would make me a true heretic. And I would not be able, but as a heretic, I would be outside. I would not be able to help my people, and that's sort of the whole point of becoming a cleric of Sharinlar. That was the whole reason I did so.
Stand on what you believe, Rogar. You may be the only one who has it right, or Sharinlar may have more than one truth. But follow
I
the one you
mean-
believe.
The other option is we just find something that's a bogglewump.
That's the plan I like.
But what if there aren't
Then we
bogglewumps?
get
I don't
like
understand.
a giant squid and we glue an ape to it and we say, look, a bogglewump. Because what's she gonna do? Bust out like a
That's-
book with every monster listed in it and say, this is a bogglewump?
so
Nobody has that.
Nobody
Oh.
has that.
Cecilia, you're really smart, but in like a really dark way.
That wouldn't have solved the problem though, because the bogglewumps would still be out there causing the problems and leading
Right.
to like the death of everything.
But
And,
has Sharindlar given you a month and a half like deadline? I don't remember that part of the vision.
well, I don't know if the Holy Mother is the representative of Sharinlar Church on Toril, then presumably like she speaks for Sharinlar. So I feel like in a way Sharinlar has. Maybe this is her way of expressing she's working through the Holy Mother to say you've been slacking and being distracted by all of this other stuff. I need to really focus on my quest, I guess. I don't know.
So Shae shows up with a tray of drinks and she says, "Did I hear something about pulling one over on a church?"
Kayla has to go to the little Avariel's room, so take her seat.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. She
That's not
slides
actually
down
what
there.
she meant,
And kind of who was Kayla sitting next to?
Surge.
Okay. She bumps up against Sturge.
Yes. Okay. Off you go.
You're very wiry. She bumps you again.
sorry.
That's
Can you
not going to work.
request a clarifying vision? Is that an option?
Yes, that's what I said. Divination.
I can try. I can try.
Contact her. And for that, he may need our help. Why is that again, Rogar? I forget.
I don't necessarily need your help. I just haven't. Each time I've tried to reach out to Sharinlar, I felt there's something that has come between her and I need to figure out what that is.
So you're looking for a way to commune with your goddess, Shae says.
Aye.
I'm a cleric of Elistrai. Maybe I can help.
You are?
You
I am.
are?
What?
We're all learning things about each other tonight.
Cool.
Says, what? Sturge, are you honestly going to tell me that you haven't been spying on me dancing naked on the roof?
Yes, I'm
Called
going
out.
to tell you that.
Called out.
Well, I do not dance naked on the roof, you big-nosed liar. I dance naked in the graveyard, obviously.
Obvious.
So, maybe I can help you commune with your goddess.
In what way? How would you help me? If your
I mean,
goddess is
think
not my
dancing-
goddess.
Dancing
Yeah.
naked in the graveyard.
Yeah, first you take off all your
That's what's on
clothes in a
offer.
graveyard.
Well, it is true. Well,
I don't know. Have you ever tried dancing naked for the glory of your goddess?
Imagining.
actually, yes.
Oh,
But-
perfect.
But in
Dancing.
it's more of a private ceremony among the dwarves for a very specific purpose.
Silent image on the table about this tall of a naked Rogar with a blurry spot right in the middle. And
Pixelated.
I see it. Can you see it?
He says, yes, perfect. That's ideal. We should try that tonight.
Now there's
Okay.
a
You
Shae
guys got
next
a
to him.
plan.
I guess it can't hurt. I'm pretty much.
When do you pray for your
That's right.
spells? Is it at dawn? Is it at midnight? Is it at dusk?
I usually I meditate the night before, and then I wake, because before I woke with Darrenlar's grace after my vision of the Bogglewomp, so I feel most comfortable doing that.
So what you're saying is you feel particularly glorious in the morning.
Aye.
Yes, your goddess sounds like my kind of goddess. We will dance naked at midnight, Rogar. I shall call upon you shortly before the last bell.
Okay.
Look forward to it. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
she
I might-
puts a big tankard of the pineapple beer.
I might need a few
Yeah.
of these. Aye.
Will you need an escort tomorrow morning?
Do you want to come with us, Sturge?
I don't like the idea of you being unattended since our latest kerfuffle.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure Rogar and I can take care of ourselves. But you're welcome to come as long as Rogar has no objection.
Cecilia has sudden doppelganger flashback and
Hmm.
looks at Shae.
Just for my own, can you remind me who Elias Stray?
Elas
Yeah,
Trae
sorry, buddy.
is
Elas
the
Trae.
well, okay. She's kind of obscure for most of you. Those of you who are trained in religion have probably heard the name before. Would you like to make a religion check, and I can tell you about Elas Trae based on your result?
14 for me.
Okay,
14 as well.
great. Elas Trae is a drow goddess. She represents rebellion and redemption for the drow. That is
Ooh.
what she attempts to seek out.
Perfect.
And she stands in opposition to her mother, Lolth, the demon goddess of spiders, who
Ooh.
largely controls drow society. Illustraians are seen as rebels in one particular way. There's another rebel drow god, but you don't know much about that particular deity. You just know that there are two.
If only you were a rebel in need of redemption in some way.
If only, right?
Shae holds out her hand and presses it to Rogar's chest and says, I see a kindred spirit within you, friend Rogar. And I will do my best to help you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Also, dancing naked is one of the most freeing, liberating, and empowering experiences in my life, and I wish you to share in that experience. She pats you, and then she heads off.
Stomp perks up from the side. Can other people join?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Naked party.
Artemisia, is that a
Artemisia,
no,
you're
not me?
in. You're in.
No.
Set.
I saw you raise your hand.
All right.
One of those Victorian bathing suits. It's like,
So that's a plan for this evening, assuming Rogar doesn't chicken out. Jigs, who has crept under the table so he can nose Rogar's hand while he was talking, looks up at him and his eyes kind of sparkle a little bit.
Do you want to come dancing, Jigs?
His
He's
tail's wagging.
already naked.
His tail is
so-
bumping Cecilia's leg.
I look under the table, be like, "What is going on with you?"
And he curls up. And he does that.
Don't act like I did something mean.
He does that. He does that long-eyed dog thing where he looks guiltily at you.
Oh.
big white.
Why would you be upset at me? Yeah. Okay.
He's not going to give you more snackies.
His tail wags a little bit. All right. Does anyone else have any plans for the evening, or are we going to do that scene?
Well, Artemisia is going to try to go out and do business again, but it's probably too boring for like being on camera.
Well, does somebody follow after her?
Yes, I'm trying to talk to you.
Uh-huh. So, Artemisia, you're heading out and you're carrying a bunch of those letters. All you skimmed through and found the important ones, and you now have the important ones. And there are still a lot to carry, so you're dropping a couple as you head to the door, and Cecilia follows behind. You can pick up the fallen letters if you want.
Pick them up because I would be helpful, but I also think this is a lot of bunk and we should not be encouraging it.
But the point is
If you
that
ask,
it
I'll
is
pick 'em up.
slowing her so that you can catch up with her.
Good. You're like, okay, listen, I already should I ask? Okay, I could ask Stong, ask somebody, go find the letters that I can write, and I can ask about what Aravan said about our mom. But then we have to tell Stong, and I don't know about telling Stong.
Well, I mean, I trust Stong. You're the one. I mean, I told you the name that he said, and you're the one who got all like upset. It means nothing to me, so I still don't
I mean, I
understand.
told you it was bad. It's bad. At least half of it's bad. I don't understand the other half of it.
But I mean, so what does it matter if Stong knows that our mother was associated with something bad?
I just don't think we should just, there are some things you just don't need to tell everybody, because what if they understand it? And if they understand it, then they make other judgments, and it just all cascades apart, and then they're saying you can go to hell, and I don't want to do that.
Several of the patrons of the Purple Lady have now noticed the two of you there, and they're
What
like,
are you looking at? I'm gonna.
But they're definitely talking about you and pointing at you and like moving slightly closer to you.
I'm gonna bustle her out the door.
Yeah, out in the street. Here, you can have some of the letters, so I'm not dropping them.
God, this. I don't need this.
Well,
Okay, you bustle out the door and you nearly run into Sarshan, who's coming the other way.
Good
And he's
Lord.
like, "Oh, hello, Cecilia. Hello, Artemisia.
Did you find the house?
I have been sniffing all over the city for the house,
well, the house.
and I
is on
have
another
concluded
plane,
that it
so-
is not. Oh, well, that is my conclusion. How did you know, Artemisia? Ah, you are brilliant."
Oh, thank you.
So, where are you off to? And might I be of some assistance? You seem to be carrying many things.
You just throw all the letters at Sarge.
Ah, he does his best to catch them.
So Artemisia is going to look at Cecilia, but she's not like really keeping her voice down. So it's not like she's trying to keep it from Sarshan. So would he know anything? I mean, do you trust him knowing about bad stuff? Like, I don't know, like, the things that happened that you don't talk about in the year when you were away that he knows about. I don't know which of those are the things that are from your childhood that you don't talk about.
They're not the same. They're separated.
Okay.
This is like pushing on all of like Cecilia's fracture point.
Sarshan says, "Oh, that elven gentleman, he's not with you anymore, is he?"
No,
Kayla's
he's
dead?
gone.
No, Aravan left.
Oh,
Do
very
you know
well.
something about him?
No, I was just mildly curious.
Okay.
Are you? Gage thing?
Make an insight check.
Everybody, send your good thoughts to my dice because they stink tonight. Oh, that one was pretty good. Good thoughts, audience. That is a 21.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you, audience. He seems relieved.
Interesting.
And he deflected that. "Oh, do you know something about this guy?" way too easily. Like, "Oh, obviously not. I'm just mildly curious." Yeah.
He mentioned knowing something about someone that we know. Does that have
Truly.
to do with your geish?
I couldn't say.
That's true. You can't say this gay stinks. That one is a.
He now seems nervous. Oh, Artemisia, I was going to tell you, I had stopped by where Marcelea is staying and saw that she is well.
Oh, okay, good. I need
Nothing really to report. Just very important to understand that she is well.
Do you know how to take a gauge off someone, Artemisia? Does your stepmother?
It seems like something she might know. Yeah. Should we take? I mean, I have to go see my stepmother anyway.
Okay.
So, we should take him to.
Yeah. Why don't you come with us?
Yes.
Cool. But I'm gonna.
Of course, I will go with you wherever you wish.
And I'm gonna go. He knows something.
What? No.
I mean, she wouldn't make an insight check, but for all she knows, you're like
just happy puppying it up.
Totally easygoing guy.
Yeah, totally easy going.
Okay.
Oh, Artemisia, would you like me to carry some of those for you?
Yes, thank you.
He's actually fairly dexterous. Okay, and he's managed to stack them in appropriate piles. Aha, yes.
So she'll hand them all over, and unless it looks like he's gonna, drop them.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
I am happy to carry your burdens.
Oh, thank you. Clearly, Artemisia like that kind of cornball stuff. Like it totally gets her.
Celia thinks he learned common from a bunch of chat books.
He didn't not learn common from. All right. So you're actually going to see Marcelea?
Yeah.
Is that the plan? Oh,
yep.
Okay.
As we walk, I'm going to pull Artemisia close and point out that bring up to speed on the fact that Sarshan has some sort of gauge on him, which has to do with someone that he's hunting, which I thought was Jigs and maybe isn't Jigs.
Oh, okay.
And that it might be dangerous to ask Sarshan about Durfins, but I don't know anything. I don't know whether asking him what a Lithari is dangerous. So maybe that's worth the risk. And then maybe we should just go out and tell him Mom's dramatic name, which is amazing, by the way. But Cecilia is the sort to be like, yeah, of course. The Spear Witch, was that it?
The Spear Witch.
Yeah. Maybe we just
That's
go
the one.
We don't have to make the decision to do one of these things before you get to Artemisia, but that is where Cecilia's head is. Like, okay, you might want to bring Sarshan in because he knows something. I suspect.
Sounds good. My connection is being iffy, so if I fade out, that's why.
Okay.
If you fade out, we'll just say Artemisia suddenly fainted.
No, she's not quite that much of a damsel. Okay,
well,
we're good
then
now.
We'll go find the assassin who shot a dart at you.
Roll initiative, everyone.
Well, because I mean, I think
he looks one thing up. So go ahead and continue for a moment. I'll be right back with you.
All right.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that Artemisia is very much someone who's going to just like jump into the deep end and no Durthin, but otherwise she's going to just sort of.
I mean, if she's like, you know what, Cecilia, you are going to just go ahead and ask everything, I would not blame her. But also, if she wants to be nice, then down.
Well, I mean, it's a compromise. Like, clearly the Durthin, it's the thing. So Artemisia, we can set that aside for now. So she's going to go to Sarshan and say, so you probably noticed me and my sister, we had a little moment. And the thing is that Erevan, Kayla's dad, said that he knew our mother. And the name didn't mean anything to us. And Cecilia said that the Gesh might hurt you, so don't answer if it hurts, but does Ska, the Spear Witch, or Lithari mean anything to you?
He just dropped all the letters all over the street. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. One of these must be a mimic. I must hunt it down.
Well,
Patting down at all the letters. Yes, sometimes they secret themselves in amongst letters, just waiting for the right moment to explode. And yeah.
I get the feeling that one
I
of
think
those.
I saw it, and he turns into a red wolf and
my
runs
God.
off down the street.
Damn.
Can we attempt to grab him?
Yes.
I say that with my
melee
craft.
attack rolls, please.
Like, crap. It's just like an unarmed strike.
Yes.
And which do you add to unarmed strike?
Strength.
Okay.
Oh, she's so strong now, isn't she?
This will be excellent. Noodle arms, go! 5!
And what'd you get, Cecilia?
An 8. Oh, sorry.
Okay,
no,
yeah,
it's an 11. It's an 11.
He bounds free and starts heading down the street.
Son of a Vargas, that guy.
Do you chase
He knows
him?
something.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
clearly he knows something. So, she's worried about the letters. So, Cecilia, go. Artemisia
I'll
has to
run.
get her letter first.
Sleep,
Yeah.
old person.
Well, yeah. I mean, she could hit. Well, but if she sleeps him, then like he's asleep. I guess we could wake him up by like poking
Tie
him.
him up.
He's also some kind of elf. I don't know if he'll fall asleep.
That's true. Hold person. Artemisia's too nice to hold person him just because like he freaked out.
Okay,
Meta
so
question,
he
what
leads
does
you
hold
around
person
to
do
the
a shapeshifter?
south.
Sorry,
Sorry.
meta question. What does hold person do to a shapeshifter? Like if he's in wolf form, does hold person work on him?
If the shapeshifter is usually a humanoid, it should still function, but that's a good question.
What a weird edge chase. It doesn't matter, you won't cast it. So I'm just gonna chase him.
I'm going to look up the Druid's Wild Shape because that's the most similar to the ability. Anyway, yeah, he
Just
is
be
running
like,
to the south.
That wolf stole my purse!
He cuts between the two buildings, one of which is the Purple Lady and one is some other dance hall, heading to the southeast.
Okay. I'm
You
gonna cut
give
right after
chase?
him. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well,
I don't
and
like
your
this
movement is
secret.
30,
My
and
movement is 30.
Artemisia's movement is 30?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get through between the buildings and out onto the larger street. This is where Southgate Market Street kind of wraps around to the west around a series of buildings. There's a square here. That it's the square in which Artemisia found the grisly scene.
Oh.
But that was several days ago.
Also, I haven't been here.
Yeah. Well. And you see the wolf running past that fountain and onto another side street, heading east, sort of southeast. You continue chasing him. He is
Can I get
faster
in front
than
of
you.
him? But if I misty step, can I get in front of him? I'm not saying he won't knock me out when I do it, but
okay.
I think Cecilia would attempt that.
Make an athletics check with advantage. So the
second one is 18.
Excellent. So the athletics check was to run up close enough that you could misty step ahead of him.
Okay.
Not actually catch him, but get close enough. So yeah, you misty step ahead of him and you appear there. And he kind of reels up. The wolves do that? Anyway. And then he turns back into himself as though out of shock. Remember that he does not take his clothes with him when he turns into a wolf.
Yeah.
So you are now facing a very naked, long, red-haired Sartian.
It
Oh.
doesn't face Cecilia as much as I think Sartian would expect it to, or other people would expect it to.
Well, Sartian
Like,
doesn't have any
your
expectations about it, but other
That's
people
true.
are like, what the?
It's gonna be like, stop running.
Yes. He stops running.
Like you're okay, you can critique your plan here later.
His
No
hair
one's
is
gonna
wild.
make you say
waving.
anything.
Okay.
But Artemisia and I are now faced with a mystery that might be really important.
Okay.
Which one of those things made you throw all the mail and run? The name or the word?
I couldn't say. But I want to. I just can't.
Okay. Did the name make you do it? Can you not say that?
I couldn't say.
Did the word make you do it?
Which word?
Lithari.
Does he run
Have
again?
you caught up?
Well, that's
yet?
just what I am.
What? What do you mean what you are?
What do you mean? What am I?
I mean, there's a lot of things you are, Sarshan. Which one? Does Lithari mean elf? Does it mean guy? Does it mean under the
Oh.
heart of the piercing? Does it mean kind of dense sometimes? Also a
He
little
looks
charming?
confused. He looks confused. He says, "Oh, you think I'm a little charming?"
Oh my god.
No. That was
yes.
that was a
Redhead?
joke. Artemisia shows up. And she's like obviously a little tired.
and
from
she
running.
got the clothes too. She's blushing, seeing him naked.
Yeah. He's standing.
So she'll give him the clothes.
He's thoughtful. You sway the cloak around him.
Yeah.
He's like, "Huh, I'm surprised. You're not familiar with our blood."
What do you mean out? Well, okay. No, I guess we know now because this is what Erevan said, that she's Lithari.
Right.
And,
So-
and not what that means.
Who's
Because
looking
we
for-
don't know. For others who might have
Well,
forgotten,
don't say it.
Skaha, the
again.
spirit. What?
No, she was
No.
explaining to the viewers.
That's Aaron saying to the
Oh, okay.
viewers and
Yeah,
Steven.
all right.
Sorry.
We're talking about Skaha the Spear Witch. But Cecilia will be considerate and save that for when she wants to scare Sarshan into doing something.
So you wish to talk about spears?
Oh my god. Go back to the first thing. What does that mean?
What does spears mean, or what does
Lithari.
intelligence is not as high stat? Lithari is simply that is what I am.
Artemisia, oh my god, help me or I'm gonna slap him.
So
I know there are some among the people who are not Lithari. I assume that. Well, for instance, Caliph. Caliph is not Lithari, but Caliph is one of the people. I am one of the people, and I am Lithari.
Who's a kind,
It's a kind of
elf?
elf.
I suppose, if you want to say it that way. That seems like such a reductionist way to say it. Yes,
Big words.
I know. I
So-
learned that word just yesterday.
So you
Somebody
Let's try this.
accused me of being reductionist when I said I simply wanted to buy meat. And they insisted on asking me how I wanted it, and I said, in my mouth.
I'm gonna try
Which
this.
they seemed to take as some kind of romantic overture, and then I had to run. Otherwise, I would have killed them all.
I have an
Oops,
idea.
Sarshan.
Cecilia says to Artemisia, and she asks
Okay.
this question again, but she asks it in Elvish. And says what he says in Elvish.
Okay.
And whether it makes more sense that way.
Well, it does make more sense in Elvish, and he describes Lithari as a kind of elf who are equally elves and wolves.
And Cecilia makes this face. Do you speak Elvish?
yes.
So yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you heard all this.
Yeah.
Wait, so Artemisia's a dragon wolf elf? This is just getting so awesome.
So she has scales and fur?
No. No
She's
fur.
a dragon, wolf, elf, princess. Okay, okay? Let's be clear.
Caught up? I'm sorry. Our mother is like a werewolf?
No.
No.
Where means man.
But our mother could
We are
turn
not
into
men.
a wolf like you.
I am not a man. I am an
That's
elf.
a
You
thing
are
that
an
you
elf.
just do? I thought it was a spell you learned.
Oh no. My spells are very similar to your spells, Artemisia. I mean, he said Cecilia, not Artemisia. That was me making a mistake, not him. My spells are similar to yours, Cecilia, and to Rogar's in some distant way.
This is
Because
really
of
weird. I
your
don't know what to do.
patron, right?
Because of my patron.
Okay, so I told some things to Artemisia about that. You can talk to her, but
Well, she did say the word, so I just repeating
no,
the word that she used.
I just don't.
Look, tell you what, Cecilia, I wanted to ask him something, but so that you feel comfortable, you can be right there, and then I will ask him, and you can hear what I ask and hear what he tells me.
You're
right?
starting to gather a crowd of onlookers since you're just in the middle of the street having this conversation.
Once we find
Sarshan
somewhere,
is totally comfortable with this. He has no concept of like, this is not a appropriate place to be having this deep conversation.
Where can we be that isn't here? And you can ask him, but let's like not make this everybody's business.
Somewhere not here. Where would we be if we were not where we are?
Sarshan, just a moment.
You see a carriage starting to roll up to you, and then the carriage driver's like, "Oi, out of the way!" What is this?
To the crowd or to us?
He's shouting to the crowd. And then
if I just scream, "Get out of here!" with an intimidation.
The carriage driver's child, like his son, is sitting beside him on the bench, and he's like, oh, "That's the bronze wolf, Dad. I was telling you about the quivering thumb, about the fight with the Twilight Knight." And
Wait, noodle arms here? You guys got the wrong lady. We have got to get out of here.
Did you say the toilet night?
Oh my God!
That's what
How did we miss that? How did we miss that?
The driver says. "Did you just say the toilet night?" And his son says, "The twigget night." The twignet night.
Well, Artemisia's gonna grab Sarshan, like his wrist, and like just go. Not that she can pull him if he doesn't want to go. She's just gonna like pick a random direction and start walking.
I'm gonna make witch bolt hands and back after them. Like
make an intimidate check.
Oh, it's an 11.
All right, so you make the witch bolt hands and big crazy eyes. You're like, all right.
I'm gonna get marriage proposals out of that.
Right. And then, like,
you find yourselves walking east down the street, and before you know it, you're on the Southgate Market Street, which leads to the south gate of Westgate. So Sarshan says, yes, walking. Walking is always good for thinking about things. Thinking about things and speaking about things and sometimes not speaking about things.
Okay. Important question. This doesn't mean anything, right? Like, because we're half elves, so this is just we get the point here is in the
you can't turn into a wolf?
No.
That's what I'm asking.
You speak wolf though.
Well, that's different. That's a preference.
I don't.
Huh.
So
is that because you were not raised by
think
wolves?
it is. Well, I mean, no. I mean, I don't really like.
Well, when I first met you, I assumed that you were like me.
And I just never ever turned into a wolf.
Yes.
Who taught you to turn into? How do we know? I don't know how I feel about this.
Who taught you to walk?
I mean,
who taught you to be clever? Who taught you to use your magic?
People.
I went to school for magic, but it wasn't my stepmother's magic, so I guess there was.
But the magic comes from within you, and he touches Artemisia gently on the upper chest like this.
That's true, but I mean I probably don't have it. I can't speak wolf like she can, so I mean, why would I?
I mean, like legit, I couldn't talk wolf until stuff happened in a cave.
Until our mistress unlocked the potential within you.
Right. So, okay.
Yay,
Still walking,
maybe?
no crowd, but so question for you, Thurston. And you can hear it, Cecilia, but your mistress, patron, whatever.
The heart of
sh-
the piercing.
Yes, that.
He looks at Cecilia like, is that okay to say?
Yes, you can say that.
Is she just? Is she fair? I wouldn't ask if she's kind, but is she even-handed to work for?
He looks to Cecilia, like confused.
Wants to know if she is. Yeah, it's a really hard question. She's like a blizzard, right? She's not nice, but she's not picking on anybody, and she just happens.
Right, she's eternal.
She's like a wolf, I guess, because we're doing that now.
Like a wolf.
Yeah. So they chase things, they hunt things, they eat them.
She is
And
a howl.
being mad at a wolf for doing that is bonkers.
She is an everlasting howl to a winter moon.
And
God,
you're,
Is such a thing just or even-handed?
but are you happy to work for her?
He looks at Cecilia again, like,
I just
don't know.
want to
Ask the
know.
question in Elvish and see if it makes sense to him.
I want to know if my sister's okay.
he nods like he didn't understand the word happy in common. He's like, I had never considered. I am pleased that it has offered me the chance to find my sister. He indicates Cecilia.
Hold up.
Literally?
Not my blood sister, my pack sister.
Oh, okay.
As
Okay,
you are
'cause
my
you know
pack
what?
sister.
2 relatives in 1 10 days. Too much.
Pat, yeah,
Also,
you
oh my
said
God, we
that
have to have
before
some conversations.
about pack, but you said but the others aren't Lithari, but they're still. You said they were pack also.
Oh my God, they're not, right?
No, they can't be.
Which
I
others
don't
are
even
not?
know what's going on anymore.
I do not understand.
I mean, she can try again in Elvish, just saying like pack. Is that
Pack
just us or all of the Westgate Irregulars?
Well, we are the core of the pack. They are the
Periphery?
periphery of the
See,
pack.
you and I are co-captains. That's what he's saying.
You are the captain.
According to the letters, I'm the captain.
Cecilia is the captain.
She's so miffed about those letters that she's not going to argue with Sarshan or feel embarrassed about it. She's just like, yep, see?
Co-captains. All right.
Artemisia and I, we are equal in the pack. Cecilia is above us in the pack.
Well, okay.
Wait, I get to be in charge even though I can't do the wolf thing?
I do not understand.
You are an entire Lithari, right? Like, you don't have a human part to you.
I don't think so.
So
I have
if
never.
I'm-
I have no human within me. I have never eaten a human,
Well, good.
even when I was particularly hungry.
Aaron enjoys the linguistic play here.
I have
We're not-
no human blood.
Okay,
You have human blood.
yes. But I
From-
outrank you in this? How close are we to Marseillea, by the way?
Well, you have reached the southern gate, the actual south gate itself. There are guards who are starting to close the gate for the evening. And Sarshan says, we should hurry if we are to see your lady. He says that to Artemisia, like he's a little uncertain what to say.
Stepmother? Is that what you're looking for?
Stepmother in Elvish. Although
Very well.
Cecilia's Elvish is such she probably is like mother of the step. Mother on the stairs.
She doesn't seem like much of an outrider. I don't know what you're saying. It says yes, she is. She is outside the city
Oh,
in a mountain of a mountain crafted by men.
what?
Oh, we're having quite an adventure.
Yeah. So
Fine.
Artemis,
Gonna climb
He
in
points.
mountains.
He points at a nearby keep, like a small castle. He says like that.
oh,
Oh.
oh, okay. Is it how long would it take us to walk there? Do we need to hire a carriage?
An hour or so. You're not going to turn into a wolf and run.
I mean, you tell us how. I don't know if I want you to tell me how. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, I mean,
first
obviously,
you have to get naked. No, that's obviously not required.
I mean, obviously, Artemisia didn't inherit that, so I mean, she'd be left behind anyway.
Okay, you're going to head out to meet up with Marcelea?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to shift over to someone else for a moment.
Yep.
So, Rogar,
Hi.
did you go through with meeting up with Shae?
Hi. We're gonna do a whole like dance scene. It might be a good time for a break.
Yeah. All right. I just want to determine what to do when we come back.
Yes, I've had several pineapple drinks, and my inhibitions are down, and I'm going for it.
Great. All right. So in that case, I think we're going to take our little break now. So we're going to do our interview plus one. Mods do run a poll, and at this point, it could be anyone. I'm not sure how many. Are we still limited to the 5 polls? Yang Yang?
Yep. It's
Okay.
Twitch's thing.
So, I don't know.
You can drop me. I've done too. So.
All right. Well, you've seen a lot of interviewing from Erin recently,
That's true.
so I guess we'll give her that extra break. I think she has a very spicy dinner to finish eating anyway. So mods run a poll with Emily and Randy and Steven and Yang and Rhiannon, and I will ask them some questions, and that will be in about 5 minutes, and then the interview will be 5 minutes. So 10 minutes from now, we'll be back at the game. That's the plan. Don't go away. Hey, welcome back. We're going to do our interview with Randy Henderson, the player of Rogar Bethelbairn. And thank you for voting on him. I am glad that you're finding his story intriguing. And I'm going to have some questions for him, as do some of you. So thanks for coming back, Randy. I want to preface this by saying that I went inside to say hello to my wife, and she thrust this cream broccoli soup on me. And so I'm going to eat some of this while Randy answers some of the questions. So here we go.
All right. Cream of questions. Here we go.
All right. So first of all, Randy, can you tell us what you're working on these days that you can talk about, that you feel comfortable telling us about?
Sure. Well, I mentioned previously, I reworked this sort of a Persian mage punk. So pre-Islamic Persian culture set in a second world fantasy with sort of a magical internet, hackers and other things. So kind of all over the place, but I sent that to my agent, so we'll see. And then I am right now super excited about, I'm drafting out like a epic fantasy, probably about 5-book series. I'm outlining it all right now. Super excited about that. That'll be more kind of a traditional epic fantasy. And probably some of it resonates with what I've been doing with Rogar and stuff in terms of exploring religions and fallen cultures and revolution and other things. I'm excited about that. And I'm also working on a quick have my fancy humorous thing, and people keep asking me like if I'm going to write more books, and I thought during quarantines maybe I would try to knock out a quick little novelette from his sister's perspective, just for
That sounds cool.
people to read for fun.
Awesome. A question from one of our viewers, Reconnoisseur. I love that name. Okay. I know cleric is a new class for you. What have you played in the past, and what do you like most about playing a cleric so far?
I almost always played halfling arcane tricksters of some form. They're like rogues, halfling rogues. I love them. I love playing them. I love being mischievous and getting into trouble. And Yang Yang actually DM'd a session with me once where I was playing a halfling rogue, and I did the whole thing where I supposedly owned an inn, and there were wards all around, and some people we were hunting. Uh, I assumed that they had set the wards, and I figured, well, the best way to find them is to make them come to us by triggering the wards that they sent for us that I had detected as a rogue. So I purposely set off the wards, and that didn't go well, surprisingly. But anyway, so I was always getting into trouble with my party in that stuff. And then cleric thing I
What?
love
Setting off wards that you didn't know didn't go well?
didn't go well. Yeah, yeah. And then as a cleric, I really love. So I'm an atheist, secular humanist, and so for me, like playing a cleric is interesting from that perspective of exploring, like faith and religion, and playing it honestly, and and just playing D&D in general in a world where the gods literally exist and are very much directly involved in people's lives is an interesting thing. And then also just again, being a cleric of Shae I created that whole I've created this whole backstory mythos about the rise of the importance of Charlene's temple after the fall of the Great Rift, when dwarven population was already pretty low, had problems reproducing, but then the Great Rift really reduced our numbers, and so the Church of Life really became important. And I have this whole all this political infighting between the different churches and temples and gods going on in my head. Like I have all this kind of stuff plotted out that maybe I'll write up at some point. Um, a guide to post Second Sundering Rift culture, dwarf culture, or something like that. But,
Yeah, this is a very cool way of looking at how you can take a kind of obscure minor faith in the realms and just expand it in a very organic and creative way. That Shae is kind of a relatively minor goddess. Dwarves are not really associated with love and affection and sensuality, as it were.
right.
And you've kind of taken this concept and turned it into something really big and expansive, and it's proving an interesting core to your character. I'm really pleased, and I want to see where this goes, and that leads into the next question, which is from Proquar, who wants to know a little bit more about the Bogglewumps. Apparently, they missed the origins of the Bogglewumps, and they want to know: is this something Rogar made up? Is it something you heard from your
Yes.
god or picked up during a stupor of some kind? Rogar has spent a bunch of time in the last couple episodes really, really drunk. So
Yeah, things are starting to wear on him. So the drunkenness is just coming. He had the whole thing with the Twilight Night and then Rhett thing and his struggles, and he's starting, he still hasn't found a single sign of actual Bogglewumps after all this time. And so, yeah, he's just starting to like crack a little bit. So the Bogglewumps, I mean, I don't know how, I don't want to give away too much, but basically he had a vision that he was gifted the powers of Shae when he awoke from this vision. So he truly believes this vision was sent to him from Shae. He rose up. He saw Gormgulthin. Gormgulthin said, you must stop the Bogglewumps. And he saw all these nebulous forms flying into the universe and was sent back. And so he had that vision, and he tried to tell his temple about it, and they were like, no, they weren't having it. They just didn't believe it, especially because Gormgulthin was involved. And Rogar had this whole theory that obviously that proved that Shae was more powerful and above basically Gormgulthin, because Gormgulthin had died, but now here he was back, and who else could have brought him back but the goddess of life, obviously. And that was going to cause a bunch of political tension. Anyway, there's this whole, again, I have way too much backstory being a fantasy writer. But
this is how people get drawn into heresies in the
Right,
realms,
right.
right? Like,
Right.
oh, well, let me tell you this theory about my goddess and how it makes sense. Yeah.
Right. And so they feared that I was going to distract from the core mission of the church at this time, which is promoting traditional, basically very conservative traditional marriage for purposes of procreation, kind of a bent that they're on right now. And I would cause other problems. So they were basically going to just kind of sequester me away until they could work out what the thing or convince me that I was, figure out what was up with me. And I slipped away. I escaped to go and find out, prove that bogglewomps are real, and that I was given this vision for a purpose. But the vision, what are the bogglewomps? Why was I given this vision? That's something that I think will probably be playing out in the next few episodes. We get a lot more hints about that.
Yep. They're a symbol, a hurdle that Rogar is dealing with, and his ongoing story is deeply tied in with this concept. There are these monstrous entities that he firmly believes in that he can't quite define.
Right.
So, well, let's do a fun question for Rogar. This is from Celdrine 801. If pizza were a thing in the realms, what kind of toppings would Rogar like on his pizza?
It would probably be mushrooms, because you can grow mushrooms underground, so there'd be lots of mushrooms. He probably goat cheese, because you're in the mountains, so mountain goats are pretty rugged and give good milk for the cheese. So goat cheese, mushrooms. What else? I think that would be the main ingredients, really, and whatever herbs and spices. And it would have a good beer crust, beer batter crust, probably. I'm sure. And what else?
Save the rest of the beer to drink with the dwarven pizza. I
and
think
because
dwarven pizza is going to have to become a thing now.
And because he's a cleric of life, he's a vegetarian. But I'm sure other dwarves would be very happy to have lots and lots of meat on their dwarven pizza.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all that, Randy.
Thanks for picking me.
And
thanks for the questions.
yeah, thank you, audience, for tapping Randy there. And we're going to see more about Rogar's ongoing quest in subsequent episodes. And I think we're now having some small technical issues. One of our players, their video just dropped, and so Yang Yang is going to have to scramble a little bit to fix all of that. So you want to take a couple minutes, Yang Yang, with it?
Oh,
you think we got it?
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Bam!
You're about to enter a world,
Bam!
a strange world where no one is who they seem.
No, it's all good. It's all fixed.
We're back. Yep. We're back in this strange world of faces being swapped. Although
Bogglewomps tried to stop our stream, but we are.
Do we look normal again?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
I had it under control. Had it prepared.
Hey, Yang Yang.
So, Rogar is waiting for Shae, and who is accompanying them on this thing? Stong expressed some interest in doing that.
Sturge is there.
Sturge followed along as well.
No, Sturge accompanied.
Step away for a call, so I don't know what Caleb is doing right now.
Oh. All right. Well,
what does Caleb want to do?
Hold on. Caleb wandered back in, and Stong and Shae were talking very excitedly about this ritual that they plan to do to help Rogar, to stir him out of his funk. And Shae looks to Caleb and says, "Oh, you should come with us."
Yeah, she's definitely going then. She's very curious about this.
Oh, wonderful. I shall meet you at midnight. So then the next scene at midnight, you're all in the graveyard, one of the graveyards in Westgate. Westgate has a number of small graveyards, like cornered, stuck between two houses. Obviously, somebody wanted to buy that space and build up another house, but they can't because there are so many people buried there, and there's legal issues involved. and ghosts. Anyway,
Both are guys.
but there is one particular graveyard that Shae has brought you to, and she is holding a candle. She's given each of you a candle as well. And she explains that this is part of the ritual. And
my ritual involves fire usually as well. So this is good.
I want to smell the candle.
Okay.
What do I think it's made out of?
You think it is made of animal fat?
Animal fat? Like animal?
Yeah, like tallow, like candles are usually made out of in the Forgotten Realms.
Not like human tallow.
Hi.
Probably not.
We're all
But
very
who can
suspicious.
say? It is Westgate. Anyway, so I'm guessing that Kalis is getting a little bit more interested and more excited. Like, oh, I didn't know we were doing a necromancy ritual. This is great. And it is at that point that the moon breaks free of the clouds, and Shae says dramatically, "It is time." And then she sheds her robe and stands before you naked in the moonlight.
That's
With
not
her sword.
necromancy.
With her sword.
Wrong ritual.
And then she starts dancing.
Boots and cats and boots and cats.
So Stong is definitely going to just shuck off his clothes without a second thought.
Stong sheds his robe.
Like, not only sheds like his robes, like he just sheds, just everything on him. It's like a yard sale, suddenly in there. But when he throws off his clothes, you realize you've never actually like really seen him in the nude before. And those in my party notice that like all across his chest and his back are like a number of scars, like from all sorts of sources. Like some look like they're bite marks, other ones look like they're like stabs, other ones look like they might be from lightning bolt, perhaps, et cetera, et cetera.
Where would he get those?
Some of them are very old, a few are new, but the vast majority of them are very old.
So Shae, who has begun singing this wordless song of devotion to the goddess Ilastrae, sees Stong's scars and all the marks on his body and looks upon him with compassionate acceptance, like these things are beautiful. And she invites you to come dance with her.
He doesn't really like respond to that. Stong is somebody who always has something to say, and he always has like a big reaction. But
she doesn't say anything. That's just the feeling that she can.
Yeah. I'm saying like his reaction is that he would normally have like a very big reaction, but you seem to sense that he's perhaps insecure, perhaps like something about it like really like got to him, and he's like having like a bit of a moment. So he just goes in to join her and like just dances, but he kind of like goes off towards like the back a little bit and just hopes that his friends join in.
Are you going to start singing as well?
He doesn't. Well, it's like her ritual, and he is not a bard to upstage another bard
Okay.
yet.
Also, do you know the words of the song?
It is a wordless song of devotion.
Oh, wordless.
It is the song of your heart, which Shae explained to you as you were riding in the carriage to the graveyard, which Caleb probably interpreted as the song of my heart is necromancy. I am so in this.
I want to know what love is.
Oh, Rogar.
I want you to show me.
Skeletons.
So Stong and Shae are dancing, and anyone else join them?
Oh,
Rogar joins them. Okay, Rogar, do you shed your clothes as well?
I peel off my clothes.
All right.
This is full disclosure. No pun intended. Rogar.
Yes, the answer is yes. All right.
So Rogar participated. Sharindlar is secretive about the whole love side of the aspect among the dwarves. They kind of keep that mum. But basically, they have pretty wild orgies. Is one of the secret rituals of Sharindlar.
Yeah.
So Rogar has done this many times. But sort of like taking one for the team, sort of thing. He has participated in the orgies, and in order to further the dwarven race many times as part of. But he views it very sort of. He's up to this point managed to view it very like ritualistic.
Well, this is a naked dance ritual.
Aye,
Pretty familiar with this. All right, and you are taking part in the dancing and the singing as well. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That leaves Sturge and Kayla standing there watching.
And Jigs.
And Jigs. Jigs is there as well.
Aye, I'm dancing with Jigs. Me and
Caleb is
Jigs are
gonna
dancing.
look at Sturge and be like, "Are you?"
Is it cold?
It is very cold, but in the area
Whoa.
of the ritual, it feels warm and welcoming.
Is your nose feeling a little small?
Everything seems luminous, as though the moon is a waterfall descending upon you. There's a faint mist rising from the ground, but it fills you not with cold, but with warmth.
Oh man. So just real quick, like complete aside, I once read this house rule that somebody made that said your constitution modifier essentially dictates your size. So just complete aside.
Oh my god!
No. Surely it's your strength modifier, and it's inverted. Anyway,
Sturge is going to lean closer to Caleb and say, both of us could simply use our illusion to appear naked, and so not suffer the cold, nor the other things that go along with being revealed. But that might break the spell.
not suffer the intimacy is what you're saying? The being naked with other people? You can seem to be naked without actually being naked? Ah, you're so clever, Sturge.
This is like a dodge that somewhere across the moors outside Westgate Cecilia is like, hold up.
What?
Someone is lying to themselves somewhere.
All right. You four who are
Disturbance
currently
of the force.
participating, I am going to need you to make a performance check.
Oh god.
This is a group performance check. So if you blow it, that doesn't necessarily mean you screw it up for everybody.
All right,
Shae is
Sturge.
also participating in the performance check.
Sturge is going to shed his clothes. He said, "Look, we've got to support Rogar."
Just,
The feathers,
this is for you, Rogar.
the cape, the plague mask.
Yes.
You're all participating. Excellent.
Tears are going down Rogar's cheeks right now.
I'm going to need you
Oh
to
my
make
God.
a performance check.
Noose
I
out
got
for
a- I got a
Rogar.
14.
Jigs joins in the dance as well.
Whoa, how does Jigs get naked?
Just
Swear
Jigs
to
is
God.
already
Collar.
naked.
Don't take off the collar. Don't take off the collar.
Jigs does manage to take off the collar.
Jigs, damn it.
Oh,
the face
Jigs.
action isn't around, right?
That is true. The viewers at home, Jigs wears a collar that disguises him, so he doesn't look like what he looks like now. He looks like a border collie. But as he's taken off his dang collar,
So the
He did
He did his
shocking
part. He did his part.
Irresponsible wolf. It's a silvery white wolf, I think is the right color, right? Yeah,
So
he's
the-
very, very large and muscular wolf.
the shocking thing here is going to be that Sturge has a 28 performance.
Whoa. Amazing.
Sturge just dances like he was made for it.
Just like a serpent dancing on its
Man.
tail.
This cold does not affect you at all.
that is impressive.
That's three.
Immune to shrinkage.
Yeah, that's true. Sturge is, for the sake of our audience, he is a eunuch and does not have genitalia of any kind.
Just like a Ken doll.
Just like a Ken doll. All right. Well, let's not dwell. So, what did you get on your performance checks? Ston,
17.
Rogar,
14.
Caliph.
5.
Oh, yeah.
She's the
Is
person
it
at the
even
high school.
possible for you to get 5? Aren't
That's
you?
right.
True.
Well,
Charisma.
there's the
You're a
one
blade
thing.
singer. You're trained in performance.
Who's
Yeah,
the
but
one
she
thing?
can't dance. She's the one person who in the high school dances who stands in the corner and then awkwardly sways while sort of like
All right.
doing this with their arms.
It's charming. It's
All
charming.
right.
You got your own style.
The
Smack yourself in
song
face
the
with
song
range.
of Illustrae does not match your blade song, and so this is very strange. Or your dancing is just letting you down. Yeah. And Sturge just masterfully. Ha ha. Yeah.
Sturge, help me out here.
He's definitely gonna do a little weave around her that asks her to stay stationary while he like twirls himself around her.
Make it look like it's on purpose.
I can't decide if I'm sad or missing this or if it's a good thing. I would wreck the spell.
As you are dancing and as you are sharing this intimate communal moment, the light around you grows brighter, and it seems to take on a golden cast. And Rogar, this is particularly moving for you because that starts to resemble Sharinlar's light.
Oh, I think it's working.
Venetian, cast it. Cast
Oh man,
I think it's
I
working.
think these candles are making me trip out, guys. Thought it was just fat in these candles.
And it might be all of the alcohol you've consumed, or it might be a trick of the light, but the rest of you're pretty sure that you're seeing these two humanoid figures, like ghostly illuminations in the moonlight, dancing with each other. And one of them is a dark-skinned, white-haired elven woman, and one of them is a dwarven woman. Sometimes it looks like she has a beard, and sometimes it doesn't. Like it just kind of flickers in and out of your awareness. She seems to be clad in flame all around, or perhaps a diaphanous gown made of flame. It's hard to say. You only catch glimpses of her, and you think that maybe you're imagining it.
Oh, guys, this is a great candle. Stong is gonna take the candle and like hold it a little closer.
Taste the candle.
Just look at the apparitions and
Like
just
ice
like
cream.
smell the
It's like,
candle.
ice cream.
Yeah.
Rogar, you see these two humanoid figures appearing and coming closer to you, and then one of them turns to you, her face wreathed in flames, and then her eyes turn into these dark pits.
What?
And then something oozes out of her eyes, like a black, wet grub-like thing. It starts reaching for you.
No, I'm gonna burst into tears.
And Rogar falls back on his backside, and suddenly the moonlight shatters, and you're just there in the middle of the graveyard.
Did it work, Rogar?
And Shae stands there panting, and she looks like she's in actual pain of some kind. She does have that bandage on the kind of on the inside of one of her breasts there, but otherwise she's totally naked. And she's like, "What just happened? It was going so well.
I don't
Are you
know.
all right?" She runs over to Rogar. "Are you hurt?" She touches his forehead.
Did we also see the black eyeball maggots?
Only he saw that.
I don't understand. I don't know what happened. I thought it was Sharinlar, but something was wrong.
So Shae reaches down and hugs you. And Jigs comes over and presses his head up against your backside. Like your lower back. 'Cause
I was
you're,
going to say, I'm
sticking
naked
down.
though.
Yeah, that would be weird. Like your back.
I mean,
Those
dogs
who
sniff
watch
the butts,
the Ed
but-
thing, it's not a butt fish anymore, it's a butt wolf.
That's
Or watch
a
the Ed,
butt
if you don't get that, you can watch that Ed Greenwood interview.
All right.
I'll reach back and I'll
Yep.
It's very reassuring having him there.
All right. So you were standing there in the graveyard, and now it feels chill. Now it feels cold and unpleasant, which actually feels a little comforting for Caliph. You're like, this is more like what I expected. All right. The sisters on the road south of Westgate. So leaving the city during the day doesn't seem all that strange or threatening. You're just walking out among the fields. This is Hammer, which is in the middle of the winter. So the fields, some of them have been sown with crops, but the crops haven't started growing much yet. So the fields look pretty empty, and it's very flat around Westgate, except for in the distance the rolling hills. There are several discrete hills that are very occasionally spoken of in the city. And there are urban legends about the lost gods of the hills. But at night, it is completely dark. If you stick to the road, there are occasionally holes like spears thrust into the ground with like fire guttering off the top of them to light your way. But mostly you're out in the dark alone, and the world feels large and threatening around you. Sarshan doesn't seem bothered at all.
Kind of comforting.
He's just padding along like, here I am in the wilderness. No big deal.
Cecilia has been peppering Sarshan with questions because she's not going to admit that this is spooky.
Well, and Artemisia is going to cast, I think, dancing lights just for no reason to, you know.
Stretch your
So
muscles.
these kind of will-o-wisps appear around you.
Yeah.
And Sarshan says, how beautiful.
So wait, all the elves that had the wolves when we
That's
were
right.
fighting with the red wizard. And she looks at Artemisia because she doesn't remember if she told Artemisia that part, but it just came out.
You were fighting red wizards?
You don't have to keep saying that part. When I went up, you know what? You weren't there. I forget that sometimes. When our friend insisted that I needed to come and help, yes, I was helping her help some people fight some red wizards. It wasn't fun, and I don't want to talk about it.
In the Endless Winter, yes.
Yeah.
I am familiar. I have been to the Endless Winter, although not at the same time as you.
Does not recommend it, though.
Oh, no.
It's very cold.
It's very cold.
And when I was there, it was full
lonely.
of freaking bone claws. She does not look well when she says that, but she kind of comes back. She's like, so all those elves that were walking around with wolves were just elves walking around with other elves?
Well, some of them are actually just wolves that aren't elves.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, it's a smell thing mostly. And I suppose if one never turns into an elf, then you could make assumptions.
Cecilia wants to point out he made some assumptions even though she's never turned into a wolf. But she's still not sure how she feels about that.
So you've never turned into a wolf?
No.
Huh.
I mean, I think I'd remember.
The kind of thing that you notice.
I mean, I would have thought.
Do you sleep?
Yes? Oh, wait, you don't.
No, I do not. I trance.
Even when you're a wolf, do you trance when you're a wolf?
Well, some of the time at night I spend as a wolf forgetting myself.
It's deeply unpleasant.
No, it is freeing and relaxing. It is like how, what is the word that humans do when they sleep?
Dreaming?
Dream, exactly.
I really now wonder if there's a word for dreaming in Elvish. That's outside the scope of this, I think.
Well, dreams for elves are not quite the same as they are for most people. Yeah. So he describes his dreaming as...
Oh my god, sorry, I'm nerding out.
He describes his dreaming as running through the fields and tasting life and death in his mouth and being a creature without thought or without will.
That sounds terrifying. Doesn't that sound terrifying? That sounds terrifying to me.
It sounds kind of nice for a while, not forever, but
It's
to
truly
dream
being
about for a little bit.
It is truly being yourself without a mask. Oh, look, here we are.
I'm very called out right now. That was inappropriate, Sergeant.
He points to the pile of stones, which is a castle outside the Westgate wall.
All right.
You've been walking for about an hour or so. You do hear wolves howling somewhere in the distance, but Sergeant doesn't seem troubled. He says, just young wolves looking for a mate.
You're not going to bug us, right?
I don't know. Are either of you interested in mating with a wolf?
You? What? Why would you
No.
say that?
It seemed like a reasonable
Oh my
question.
God. There are so many questions that are popping in my head right now. I don't want to know the answers to them. You just
so
go
Artemisia's-
make the door open.
Okay, so there are indeed guards
knock on the door.
outside this castle.
Or talk to
Well, they're perched, they're posted at the wall, right, on top of the wall, and they look down at you, and you see that as you draw close to the castle, it has banners hanging down the walls, and they depict a dagger wreathed in flame.
Oh. Brigante's house.
Sarshan says, "Is that important?"
No, I don't know. Artemisia, is this important?
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. My stepmother wouldn't want to live in an inn forever. And she had met and started a relationship with that house. So
I think she likes us, okay?
yeah.
So the guards hail you from the top of the wall. They say, "Hello, travelers. State your business. What means
wanna do
you
this, or you
call
want me to
upon
do it?
House Bleth?"
I come. I have learned that my stepmother, Marcelia Taran, is residing here, and I would wish to speak to her.
The guards look at each other. And one of them, like, his face lights up a little bit, and then they look to each other and they're like whispering. And Sarshan is inclining his ear.
You hear that?
Yes, one of them is saying, "Is that Artemisia Taran?" And the other one is saying, "And that must be her sister." Oh, and now they are comparing how hot you
Oh
are.
my God.
But it's such a cold night. I do not understand. The doors do creak open.
Freaking hate this.
Sarshan says, "Why? We are getting what we want."
Oh my God. Okay.
To go
I'll
inside
explain it.
that
I'll explain it in
horrible
Elvish
pile of
another
stones.
time.
Oh, I see. It's a very cold night. Usually I'm a wolf and wolves have thicker coats.
This is why I keep telling you to buy more clothes.
Yes, and I keep leaving them behind. I have gone through 5 outfits this 10-day already.
You have no way of taking your clothes with you.
I never thought about it.
It would be very useful.
experiment. Anyway, so the guards usher you inside, where you find 6 more guards standing there looking a little grumpy to be up and about doing stuff in the middle of the night. And they look at you all serious. No nonsense. "Oh, wait there. I'm calling upon the lady for you." One of them heads off into the inner building. You're standing in the courtyard of the castle. Sarshan is kind of shifting his weight from foot to foot.
I'll lean over to Sarshan and be like, just so we're clear, we do not tell Marcelia any of the Lithari stuff. Deal?
Deal. Do you want me to kill these as well?
No.
No, not right now.
Sarshan,
All right.
can you behave, or do you need to wait outside?
I can behave
So
in
no
many
killing.
ways. Well,
Behave like somebody who's not going to kill anybody.
as you wish. He leans over to Cecilia. He says, "You don't want me to kill anyone, right?"
Not right now.
All right, now. Ah.
Co-captains.
So
I agreed with you. How did I not agree with you?
soon enough, the guard returns with a somewhat sleepy-looking Regante Bleth who is wearing a nightgown with a cloak over it. She, even though she's not in her armor and not carrying her axe, still looks imposing and intimidating. Obviously, this woman is a warrior, bred and born and bred. And she approaches you and she says, Lady Taran. Lady Cecilia, I had not expected you. Welcome.
Our apologies for arriving so late. I had not realized that my stepmother was staying here. If I had realized, I would have left the city earlier in the day. But I hope that we have no need to disturb you.
No,
minimum.
not at all. Please, won't you come in for a drink? She ushers you into the main building. Sarshan says, "Should I wait out here, or should I come in with you?"
You can come with us. Do they smell like doppelgangers?
They do not.
Okay, good. Thanks.
That woman has very red hair. I wonder if it's redder than my hair.
Don't play.
Don't ask her to compare it.
Don't compare right now.
I need to see her naked really to understand.
No,
Definitely
no,
don't
Sergeant.
ask her that. She's not. That's not a good thing to ask her.
All right.
I don't think.
I'm not entirely unschooled in the ways of these humans. I know that that's not necessarily an appropriate thing to ask. Not in every situation, just
Did
in
you
most
test this?
situations.
Did you test this? That's just my question.
So Riganti leads you into a sitting room, and there are pitchers of wine and bottles of various liquors from all over the realms that you can see. And she says, "Oh, I regret to be hosting you in this drafty old ruin of a castle. My father dwelt here during his reign in Westgate, but he thought that it sent the wrong message to the folk of the city, and so they moved. So my family moved most of its operations to the Blue Banner. But with the recent attack, obviously, that has been unsuitable."
It's not really habitable right now, is it?
Indeed. Awful smell of smoke and burning. Sarshan says, yes, the bodies. And Regante says, yes, in fact, it does smell like a pyre in there. So I apologize for the draftiness. It is a little bit drafty in this castle. I have dispatched a servant to summon your stepmother, Lady Tyrone. I have no doubt she will be pleased to see you. Regante pours herself a generous helping of some sort of liquor and then takes a seat in the big chair, because obviously there's a big chair.
Yeah.
And she says, "Your fame has spread far and wide. You seem displeased, Lady Cecilia."
Not my kind of thing. Getting fan mail.
Yes.
Yes,
Although I suspect your
Artemisia wouldn't have,
sister is less displeased.
dumped all the letters. Well, I mean, it is something that I was trained for. I will need to hire a secretary. If you have any recommendations of a good person or a good place to look for such a person, I definitely need one.
I can dispatch one of my own servants for that purpose if you want. Just until you find yourself a permanent secretary of your own.
On a temporary basis, that would be much appreciated.
Of course. I shall arrange such a thing. You will, of course, be spending the night. Yes? It is very late to travel on the road. My sentries were surprised to see you here so late.
Certainly, I thank you for your offer. As I had said, we hadn't planned to travel quite so far.
Yes, you are folk of impulse and unpredictability, and that is part of your fame in the city.
For good or ill.
Sarshan says, "Was that a compliment to Cecilia?" I am learning a great deal. Regante says, "You do me great favor coming to my abode. You have secured yourselves quite a name in the city. And I have no doubt you are receiving a great many invitations from various politically interested figures and bodies."
Probably. We have a lot of mail to go through. And no house to do it in just yet.
True.
Yes, I had heard about your misfortune. Something about magic gone awry.
Yep.
Magic is
true.
so untrustworthy sometimes. you're relying upon that mirror and dark dance, is it?
Yes. She's a delight.
Such a charming woman, isn't she? If only she weren't so embroiled with that very, very dangerous Lady Nathlin. She drains the rest of her glass.
I am silently going
You
to
do
decide
know-
not to mention where we're staying. It sounds like Artemisia is not making the same decision.
Well, no, Artemisia, she sort of caught on that this is the Bleth approaching her politically. So she's just going to, mention that, Lady Nathlin is in fact on the Westgate Irregulars charter, just so she knows. That does not overly influence, or indeed influence at all most times, decisions that Artemisia herself makes, but it is a fact that should be known.
How clever and coincidental of you to bring that up. Did you know that I happen to be one of the signatories on the Westgate Irregulars charter?
I mean, at this point, who isn't? To be fair, Cecilia doesn't.
That charter gets around.
There are only so many of us. I have commissioned the Irregulars on tasks in the past, not as frequently as certain others. But they have been useful, as I see that your group is very powerful and effective as well. Perhaps at some point we might work together.
Are you offering us a job? Or just leaving the door open, so to speak?
Let us say, leaving the door open for the moment. Although I did note your philanthropic efforts in the East End. That was very kind and good of you.
This is our adopted home.
Especially since we had nothing to do
we,
with that natural disaster.
Whatever.
Either of you can make an insight check if you want to, and I will
Okay.
tell you a little bit more information.
I didn't. I made a 7.
Okay.
So I got
Cecilia,
a
she
21.
seems to be on the level. Artemisia, you make the connection that she is saying that she, House Bleth, had some issues in the East End and still struggles with diplomatic stuff there. And she perhaps sees your better name in the East End as a potential advantage.
Cecilia, being extremely suspicious, assumes that there's a possibility that Brigante knows exactly what we did. And so
I mean, that is
like,
possible.
"No,
Like,
we turn on the
Artemisia,
city, and when our city planners don't take care of all the neighborhoods the same way, well, we all have to step in, don't we?
of course, absolutely. I had been concerned that the plans in the East End were haphazard and rushed, and that part of the city experienced a great deal of growth and building over the last century. Artemisia, you're doing political chess in your head, and you're like 4 or 5 steps ahead of the actual conversation. And so is Rigante, and Cecilia is just kind of like, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha.
I heard Night Mass dug out some stuff under the city. You should do something about them, maybe.
Yes, those terrible dastards. I heard that you struck them a mighty blow, 2 mighty blows, only one of which was public. So, Artemisia, you get the sense that Rigante is offering you some kind of tentative alliance, or she's getting around to doing that.
Let's strike another blow. So it's a blow. Never mind.
Maybe she's just developing a relationship with you and your group. But before she can get to talking about any sort of specifics or even broaching the subject directly, Marcelea appears, escorted by a couple of the servants. Marcelea looks very tired. I mean, you did just rouse her at, midnight. But there's a moment when she comes in and there's this flash of relief on her face. And then it's all back to the standard, perfect, composed, political animal. And she says, stepdaughter. And Cecilia, And Sarshan says,
Mercy.
and Sarshan. Marcellia says, oh, good, another one. She goes over and pours herself a goblet of wine.
I'm not saying killer, but I am saying, don't be ready not to kill.
Sarshan says,
If Artemisia,
I see.
If
Do you
if
want me
Artemisia hears
to-
that, she's gonna kick Cthulhu in the ankle.
All right,
Slightly.
you aim for Cecilia and you get Sarshan. Ow, what did I do?
Starshan's trying to parse through all those media. Do not kill her.
Not kill.
Not be ready to not kill her. Wait,
In
what?
his second
then-
language.
Like you can hear the gears turning in his head, and then they're gradually
smoke.
replaced by wolf howling, and it just gets louder and louder. All right. So Marcellia sits and she drapes herself over her chair. You did recognize her her sitting chair, her
Oh, man.
lounging chair.
I wish I'd specified I sat in her chair. That's okay.
That's true. Well, you only
When she
you
sits
only-
down, I go, dang it!
Sarshan goes, huh? What? What is
No.
it? Oh, I see. He leans over to Cecilia and kind of like tugs on her sleeve a little bit, and he says, "Did you know I learned how to summon a weapon too?
Very good. Don't do that now.
I know I'm unarmed." So Marcellia and Regante are mostly paying attention to Artemisia, and Marcellia says, "So, what brings you to the castle so late?" And she thanks Regante for hosting you and does all the political stuff. Make another insight check, Rhiannon.
Okay. My connection was cutting out a little bit, but
no
my
worries.
insight is 10 this time.
Okay. Yeah, it's just soothing political platitudes.
Well, and Artemisia, having had time on the walk out here and not being roused from sleep, is gonna like go into that too. Marcellia will recognize it. It's the stuff she trained Artemisia in.
Mhm.
So she's gonna basically sort of indicate to House Bless that like an alliance is possible, but no promises right now. And like she's gonna make a sort of show of like she and her stepmother are obviously totally completely united front when it comes to relationships with any other house that might be in terms of Tararan as opposed to just Artemisia, like the whole thing, intricate tap dance. So, and
Great. Yeah, you're doing this. It's going well.
she's gonna
and-
see if she can ask Marcellia for a private word.
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, please.
Okay.
To see how effective
19.
you are at. Oh, okay. You're pretty effective at dancing the game of politics. So that is a success. And Regante seems pleased by how this is going. You get the sense that she is also pretty well trained politically, but she is not originally or at her heart a political animal. She's a warrior who has adopted the path of politics over the last decade or so. And so you're you feel like you're maybe on even footing with her. Marcellia is, a master on politics. But you and Regante are probably about the same level of skill. Yeah, and you work around to getting a private word with Marcellia. She says, "Yes, shall we adjourn to the powder room?"
Yes.
Those two head off. You want to take somebody with you?
She was gonna see if she can like invite Sarshan along, but if Cecilia, she doesn't want to take like everybody, so she can't get Sarshan without Cecilia. She's just gonna let them be.
Yeah, you can take Sarshan. I mean, he
And the
kind of
consequences that come with leaving me behind.
he kind of glances.
That's true.
He kind of glances to Cecilia for prompting, like, "Yes, should I go with them?"
It's a little offensive. She doesn't even look at Sarshan. She's like,
It's like, "I think this means yes." So, and Marcellia is like, oh, your elf servant, how charming. She really loves
He's not
elves, yeah.
servant.
Oh, really? He is your coin lad then? And Sarshan says, I do like coins and I am a lad. Marcellia is like, oh, how coarse and country.
He's a friend. And then she's also going to say in Elvish, he is pack. So that Marcellia wouldn't be able to understand what she's saying. So it
Marcellia
sounds like she just said something Elven about friendship.
Yeah, Marcellia has only had 4 years of Elvish 20 years ago. So she's like, what does that mean?
Elvish too?
Oh, but she's,
Yeah.
I believe in my heart she is not going to admit she doesn't know what that means.
She's like, yes, of course. And Sarshan totally gets what you just did. And he's like, yes. And he grabs Artemisia's arm and he's like, yes, of course. And Marcellia, you can tell, is utterly confused. So you leave Cecilia and Regante alone in the room. And Regante says, you should try some of this wine. It comes from the unapproachable east. I believe you might be familiar.
You have jeweled?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said you have jeweled. That was called, right? For Shemi wine?
Yes, yeah. She says, yes, imported from Rashomon.
Let's do that.
Okay. You have drinks with Regante Bleth, leader of the Fire Knives.
Why not?
What do you
She's
talk about?
offering.
What do you talk about with her?
What does she want to talk about? Because if Cecilia knows anything, it's that people like to hear themselves speak.
She's actually kind of relieved that the political people have left. And so she's like, so, I hear that you acquitted yourself quite well in the arena.
Well, I tried. I got this
With
new great axe thing.
Yes. I myself am a fan of great axes.
Oh, yeah? Do you have some?
I do. Would you like to see?
Yes. Show me your favorites.
All right. So you two start talking about axes. Regante summons a servant to bring her axe.
That is
Let me see.
very fine.
You got a fine axe, woman.
So hold on. I'm just gonna look this up because I have actual notes here.
About her axe?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. You were really ready for this conversation.
Yeah, I was really prepared.
Yeah, DM notes. Let that be a lesson.
So she shows you this this axe, which is it has a gray black blade many times knocked, as in it has seen heavy use.
Yeah.
And the servant who brings it in, it's real heavy. And the servant brings it in, hands it to her. And she says, no, hand it to our guest, of course.
That's okay.
Are you certain?
Well, in Rashomon, picking up someone else's weapon is kind of tacky.
Of course.
Inappropriate.
She takes the axe from the servant.
Cecilia has just to clarify, Cecilia's packed blade she is always proficient with, but a regular great axe,
not your thing. Yeah,
not my thing, and definitely don't have the strength modifier for that.
So
guess what? It's suddenly taboo in Rashomon to handle another person's weapon.
So Regante holds it in
are
front of her.
in the same thing.
And she closes her eyes, and the head of the axe starts licking with flame, and then bursts into flame. And she says,
"That is a fine weapon.
This was a gift from my father when I returned to the city. It was originally intended for my older brothers, but alas, they were unable to wield it, being dead."
Ah, gotcha. That does stand in the way of really being able to handle an excellent weapon.
Indeed.
This woman is so scary.
It is very well balanced. Would you show me your axe?
I didn't.
I showed you mine.
Here's a question. I assume that it would be sort of sketchy for Cecilia to manifest her pact blade in front of someone. They might be able to go, "Whoa, that's a warlock."
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, Regante doesn't seem to be a magic user of any kind.
Is there a good way for me to, like, if I roll an insight check, can I make a decision on whether Cecilia would think that's dangerous or not?
Sure, go ahead. I will take this moment to tell the audience.
I rolled a 1.
A lot of the common folk of the realms don't really discriminate among the types of magic, like wizards and sorcerers and warlocks. They're just kind of like, well, it's someone who uses magic. It's not really that big a thing. Particularly well-educated folk might know the difference, and obviously adventurers who have those abilities would probably know the difference. But your standard person who isn't a spell slinger probably wouldn't recognize the difference between a wizard and a sorcerer on first glance. All spellcasters are kind of weird to most people. Yeah, maybe. So with your 1, you have no idea.
I'm just going to assume it's probably all fine. It had some jeweled, so I'm feeling very comfortable. And sure, why not? I'm going to whip out my agree.
Excellent. And you want to describe that for the benefit of our audience?
I haven't thought about this too much. So I think that probably what Cecilia has done is replicated a weapon that she saw being made when she was a child. So it is probably got a nice solid wood shaft. It's probably decorated with Rashemi runes. I assume the head is nice quality Rashemi steel. And it is probably ornate in the way of a weapon that might be magical. But yeah, I'm gonna say, actually, let's say that the wood's been stained. It's got a black.
Okay.
We're gonna be bad.
Regante looks at the axe and she says, "Oh, how marvelous!
Thank you.
I had heard that you were a spell slinger, a witch. Is that the correct term? You wear the mask of one of the witches of Russia.
It's a Wicklarin in Rashemi, or
Wicklarin, yes. Catherine. Indeed.
Definitely. Just pop that mask right down.
It is my honor to see your magic in use.
So when it works best is when it's in use.
How droll and
It's been
clever.
a while since I've had jeweled, and it's as good as I remember.
Well, you and Regante continue bonding. Artemisia, was there something in particular that you want to?
It's going to be great. Go ahead.
Is there something in particular you wanted to talk to Marcelia about?
Yeah, so there was a letter before they were fighting the Twilight Knight. So, but first she's going to ask about whether Marcelia knows anything about geshes and detecting them and breaking them, and then after she gets an answer about that, then she's going to say, "Oh, and I got your letter, but as you may have heard, I was in a big fight and I couldn't read it," and see if Marcelia brings up anything up after that.
Well, yes, I am familiar with the Gesh. It is a powerful binding spell that, well, I do not know such a magic. I am not a particular fan of enchantment, but I do know that those who use it only use it for very important purposes. Do you know who this Gesh is upon or what it concerns? Sarshan is standing there like, I couldn't say.
Oh.
And Marcelia says, I see. Is that why he is so devoted to your wild sister and not to you? Have you enspelled him, daughter? She says that kind of in a joking way, like not too seriously. But the fact that she thinks you might have that powerful of an enchantment is kind of flattering in a sense. Anyway, and she starts inspecting Sarshan.
teeth.
Yes, she does have him
Yes,
open his mouth. He does have
yes.
slightly pointed teeth.
Nice.
And she says, well, you don't need to blush. It's all right. She says, yes, he does have a powerful spell put upon him. I might be able to remove it. Might I keep him for a while? It might
Well,
take some
I mean,
time to
that
break the
decision-
enchantment.
That decision is his because I assume it's not without risk to break such a spell.
Sarshan says, I have no fear. And Marcellia says, well, obviously, if you follow the wild sister.
He
So
doesn't do any more dangerous things than I do. And I only do dangerous things that are very important.
is that so?
That is correct.
Well, she turns back to you and she says, I have heard of your exploits. I was unable to see the battle in the arena itself, of course. I'm. She looks
okay with that,
around kind of
actually.
subtly. She says, I am a guest here. And I am proud of you, daughter, for acquitting yourself so nobly and so powerfully. I had not thought that your magic could exceed my expectations in such a way. You should be proud of your abilities. And Sarshan is standing behind her like,
Aww.
What would I roll to see if that Artemisia is gonna like try to keep a little bit of the political mask to rather than just show the vulnerability of
Check.
like,
There's a saving throw.
wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Is there ever that's an off-screen thing. I don't know when there's ever charisma saving throws. I've never been asked to make one.
Often it has to do with like resisting being polymorph. I think polymorph is a charisma saving throw.
Weird.
Unless I'm forgetting that. But yeah, there are certain spells that do it. They tend to have things to do with your identity and personality.
An amazing charisma saving throw that I will never end up using, I'm sure.
Anyway, so Artemisia, you can make a wisdom saving throw or a charisma saving throw to maintain your calm.
Yeah, calm emotions requires a charisma saving.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good example.
So if I really want to throw a tantrum, Rogar, you cannot stop me.
Not easily.
I wouldn't. They're too fun.
I'll say that I'll go with wisdom because like I don't need her charisma would like crazy knock it out of the park, and I don't think she's that like composed. But she got an 18 on the save, so I think that it won't be immediately obvious that she's just like, this is everything I ever wanted. Thank you.
All right, and I'm going to need you to roll an insight check as well. Please roll an insight check as well.
You better not just be being nice to like try and.
Meanwhile,
to notice.
What'd you get?
19.
Oh, okay. Meanwhile, back out in the sitting room. I'll get back to you in a second. Meanwhile, back out in the sitting room, Brigante and Cecilia have had several shots of Jewel together. And
like
finally, she's kind of smiling a little. She seems to be comfortable with you. And she says, so, I thought you'd be more discomfited when your sister took the fiery-haired one with her. He is yours, isn't he?
That's like a whole thing.
Well, the way he looks at you, it seems pretty obvious that he belongs to you.
Okay, but nobody asked him to look at me like that.
Are you certain?
I'm not certain about anything. And especially tonight, I'm not certain about
I see.
it.
Well, if you ever become certain about what you want, you should pursue it single-mindedly.
That's how you get messed up. That's how people trick you into thinking safe. Then they
but you see Cecilia, and she puts her her hand like on your hand, and she says,
I'm
"That's
looking
when
down
you
like, what?
that's when you can kill them for betraying you."
This is very sound advice.
There's times that doesn't work, but I don't want to get into it right now.
Chal,
What?
she takes her hand away and pours you another glass. I just want to make it clear, Rigante's not hitting on you or anything. She just is
I don't
like
think that
bonding with you, and you got that little glance of her dark rage inside, right?
I think the hand thing was that Cecilia suddenly went like, "You're not a person that touches me, so what did I get wrong?"
Okay. And Artemisia, so you come out of the powder room with Sarshan. And she seems Cecilia, Artemisia seems a little bit uncertain. And Regante stands kind of shakily to receive everyone again.
Cecilia was also doing some word math, figuring out what Regante was talking about, and is suddenly concerned that Regante was suggesting that she should kill Artemisia. She's not sure she didn't say that. That would not be okay.
It's possible that that's what she said, but it seems unlikely. Anyway,
it's also Cecilia.
And Marcelea says, "Oh, well, perhaps we can renew our conversation when we have all rested." And Regante says, "Yes." She slams her hand down on the chair arm. "Yes, rest. That's a good idea."
Cecilia says, "Let's start walking."
No, but you should stay the night. I've already had rooms prepared for you.
Should not be in this. We should
2 rooms.
be out under the moon.
She looks at the
something.
servant, and the servant's like, "Yes, two rooms, as instructed." Regante says, 2 rooms. Please make use of them in whatever way you want. And she says, "I shall retire." And she claps the servant on the shoulder too hard, and then walks away. There are a number of servants watching you, and you get the sense that leaving would be maybe an insult.
And
Artemisia also looks a little discomfited.
I don't care if we insult that lady. Like, we don't have to do anything.
It's fine.
We don't have to kill each other. It's all fine. No one thinks that's a good idea.
Killing? What?
Sarshan looks at Artemisia.
Not my idea.
Sarshan leans to Artemisia and says, "You sensed it too, yes?" And
so much gold.
The answer is yes, you did succeed on your insight check. And what it revealed was that Marcelea is a prisoner here.
Cecilia did not. Cecilia was like, "This is too
And on that note, that's all the time we have for tonight.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tune in next week to see the continuing adventures of the Westgate Irregulars as Rogar continues his downward spiral.
Into naked dancing.
I swear the promo for this doesn't say not a werewolf and naked dancing.
So just to be clear, we're still naked.
I would assume that you put your clothes back on when you went back to the Purple Lady, but yeah. I left you on that cliffhanger of like that moment of embracing and comforting each other. And there'll be much more drama and conflict later. And tune in next week.
People drop, just want to remind folks you can stay on after to see the final part of the interview.
Oh yeah,
Greenwood.
I'm getting to that, Randy.
Oh, I know, but
no worries.
People start to drop around that. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody hang out for a second. Tune in next week to see what happens with the sisters and their imprisoned stepmother.
She's not my stepmother.
Yes. Like I promised earlier in the show, we do have more Ed Greenwood interview for you to watch afterward if you have more time. You're welcome to stick around and watch that. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Toss it over to Aaron.
Thank you to our sponsors, Idle Champions. Check them out, idlechampions.com.
Thank you to our moderators tonight, Seldorine and Shae.
Gang, gang.
Well, I just
You don't have
nobody.
anything
Thank
more?
No,
you to
there's
Yang
nobody.
Yang, who's
'cause
awesome.
you
and
know,
running all of
use
our
it.
technical-
Thank me.
Thank you,
Steven.
Steven.
Thank you,
Being
Yang
welcome.
Yang.
Welcome.
You're welcome. I'm not gonna thank myself.
You're awesome.
No,
Oh, you're awesome.
somebody
Oh,
else
you're
is
awesome.
Good job, team. We're so
Anyway.
I
organized.
used to thank Gen Con. Remember, I used to
Everyone
thank
for
Gen
watching.
Con.
Yeah.
So,
And our moderators. Thank you, everybody. And the adventure continues over on our website, dungeonscrawlers.com. You can find character profiles, player profiles, NPCs, bonus material, lots of great stuff.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So, yep, stay crawling.
Stay
See you next week.
Bye.